Uh-oh, am I by myself? I guess not. Wait, no, got that wrong. Hang on. Let me tell you something. This is going to be one hell of a night. I already sense it because our technical difficulties are off the chart.
Hello,
Now we're okay.
everyone. Welcome. It is Monday night. It is time for revolutionary change. I'm Jen Perelman.
I'm Peter Hager, and I'm finally where I belong on the right. Are you on the left?
I am on the left.
Stay on the left.
Mhm.
Welcome, everybody. Apologies for the delay. I'm not going to explain why. Let's just say that live streams can have their ups and downs. But I will say this, Jen and I have been discussing we've been discussing this for a while. We've been discussing a format shift on the show. And there is a very strong possibility, we'll make it official depending on how things ultimately go on Thursday, but want to get this out of the way right off the bat. On Thursday, we will not be going live at our regularly scheduled time. We will be going live at either noon or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to figure out that exact time shortly. The reason we're doing this is because this is a guest we have finally been able to convince to come on our show. It took forever and a day. Little did we know he's actually in Europe, but Dylan Ratigan will be a guest on our channel on Thursday. We've also discussed the prospect of going in the afternoon once a week, primarily Thursday being the day that makes the most sense because Thursday nights are typically the nights that we have the smallest audience because we're crossing over with a lot of other shows. So perhaps if we were to do an afternoon show, there will be less of that crossover, and it'll also give us the opportunity to bring on guests from, especially overseas, that would otherwise not be able to do it at our regularly scheduled time. Jen, your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I don't know that we'll get any better numbers because I think that it'll just be different competition shows on Thursday afternoon versus Thursday night. So I don't think it's going to necessarily affect our numbers, but I'm fine doing an afternoon and one evening instead of two evenings. It's fine with me.
Mm-hmm. Well, we want to make sure that you don't have to do makeup twice. That's very important.
No, I don't want to. No, there's none of that.
Guys, if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please make sure that you do. Uh, I am basically going to be producing the show this evening, so bear with me. I'm going to do the best I can with what I got, and just hang on tight. But I think I can pull this off. I do it on Saturdays. I could do it with Jen. Jen, they saying your mic is low. Is that
My mic is low?
that's what Pirate Justin just said.
Well, I don't know. I don't know anything
You
about
sound
it.
fine to me, so I'm not gonna say that that's the reason. Uh, we've both been noticing the commentary, particularly about Jon Ossoff. We will get to him in a minute, but I think it's important that we start where our show basically becomes what it's always been, which is a show that is not friendly with the algorithm. And the reason we're not is because we don't play these stupid games. We're not going to tell you something that is disingenuous in any way. And it all starts at the very top, because in the end, it doesn't matter if you're on the red team or the blue team. As much as people insist, and we know we hear it a lot, Jen. You hear it a lot, I hear it a lot. Yeah, but the blue team supports these things and they can't possibly be as bad. So wouldn't you rather just have a slow death by 1,000 paper cuts? Actually, no. In my opinion, if you have to choose, I would rather have the quick death. I'd rather know what's coming and just deal with it. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, well, I don't like any of it. I'm done. I'm done. I don't really care about any of them. It will be, I feel like somewhat our obligation to go through yet another ridiculous primary process comedy of errors and pathetic candidates, and us have to sit here one by one and dismantle them to show people that not one of these people is actually worthy, but at the end of the day, none of them are. So it's not like we'll have a solution. I mean, the only solution is revolution, and the truth is we're not really there yet. Sabby did a good show on that and makes a valid point. But yeah, we could talk about all the politics. It's all stupid. It's all stupid. It's all a waste of time.
Here's why.
Hmm.
You know, the funniest part about this whole fiasco isn't that you didn't have like a lot of libs rejecting this idea. I mean, you guys know where we stand on Jared Kushner. He's probably the most dangerous person on the planet today. It's watching the shit libs defend this meeting. It's the shit libs suggesting that Jeffries is the person holding the cards. He's the person who's going to get shit done. And that Kushner is coming to, Jared Kushner is coming to him with his tail between his legs.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Let me answer yes, but no, because this is important in general. We are in the 6th stage of the 7 stages of decline of empire, and that is end of dollar hegemony. So we haven't fully accomplished stage 6, but if you look on YouTube and search for 7 stages of empire decline, I bet the video will come up that the one that I watched that was pretty cool. But yeah, we're in stage 6 right now.
Democrats incredulous over Hakeem Jeffries and Jared Kushner meeting. Critics include Senator Chris Van Hollen, ex-aide to Obama Tommy Viter, and ex-Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger. We don't really care what he has to say. But Democrats and other Donald Trump critics reacted incredulously to a New York Times. This better not start, because we do not need ad videos playing. Let's freeze that. On Sunday, the House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries met with Jared Kushner, the president's influential son-in-law, to discuss possible areas of collaboration. The reported meeting comes months ahead of the November midterm elections in which Democrats are favored to retake the House, a development that would make Jeffries Speaker. If they are in the majority, Democrats are expected to use their oversight power to aggressively investigate the Trump administration, including self-enrichment by the president and his family. Can we just get it out of the way right now that there will be perhaps a few people that get thrown under the bus, but that the corruption is never going away, that this is how this empire has collapsed, because the people who truly need to be prosecuted never are?
Is that a question?
Yes.
I think this is all silly. And anyone who looks at this as anything other than empire making certain that AIPAC Shakur will tap dance, then you're just not paying attention. This is a meeting for empire to determine if they will allow AIPAC Shakur to be the speaker. That's what this is. It's so obvious. That man has been dancing like Bojangles for that position since Nancy Pelosi sort of anointed him, which, and the only reason she did that is because they weren't in the majority. And
I mean, this has been going on for years.
This is someone who would just completely fall in line, which is why he was given that job in the first place.
Yeah.
So, that's why. So Jared Kushner is making sure that he'll stay in line. That's what I think is happening.
There are longstanding conflict of interest concerns about the way Kushner has continued to make money from foreign nations as he works on foreign affairs. How about trying to take over an island in Albania that has clearly been set up specifically for wartime purposes as whether it's a fallout shelter, whatever it is. But no, I mean, him and Ivanka just magically discovered this island and they're going to take it. That type of shit. Asked about the reported meeting, Jeffries said in a statement, throughout this Congress, Republicans have adopted a my way or the highway approach to governing that has failed the American people. To stop the madness, we have repeatedly made clear that an extremist approach will not work and will be met with forceful opposition. Sure, very forceful, as long as it doesn't conflict with corporate special interests. The American people want bold change, and that's what House Democrats will deliver.
Yeah.
That's cute. Very cute.
Yeah.
In every conversation that we have had with the Trump administration, we will continue to make it explicitly clear that the affordability crisis is not a hoax and nothing short of transformational policy change is acceptable. We are fighting for an affordable America. The question is whether Republicans will join us.
Yeah, that's the question.
Does anybody buy this anymore?
The same people that like people like Nancy Pelosi are the same people that buy this shit.
I mean, this is just pathetic. Nonetheless, among some of who lamented the reported gathering was Tommy Viter, previously an aide to former President Obama, and now a co-host of the left-leaning podcast Pod Save America, who gives a fuck.
Okay, yeah, Pod Save America is not left.
No.
It isn't.
They're shit livery.
It's centrist at best. And to affiliate them with left-leaning is part of the problem that the actual left has, is being affiliated with shit like that. Anything involving
What you also have to remember,
our electoral process, anything involving these political parties, anything involving these political parties is not serious. It's just not serious. So any content creator that at the end of the day treats that like it's real serious and that it's not a distraction like the bread and circuses that it is, they're part of the oppression. So they can't be the left.
1,000%.
If you're part of the boot, you're not on the left.
No, but again, if we're being honest here, this is again another example of how many times, again, I've always said that Lincoln's best saying was, you can fool some of the people all of the time. You can fool all of the people some of the time. You cannot fool all of the people all of the time. And that is the stage we're in now. We have seen this game played repeatedly for years, for election cycles, for generations. It's the same nonsense. It's the same bullshit every time. And this is not changing. There has been
so we should get through this, because then we're gonna have to get into the whole Ossoff situation.
We will, but we also have something important to also discuss regarding the Kushner brother, and we'll get to that in a second. Okay. I'll finish this out. In April, Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee opened an investigation into Kushner's financial conflict of interest, and nothing will happen. This is the thing. Nothing is going to happen to him. Nothing happens to anybody. Rick Scott doesn't get prosecuted. Debbie Wasserman Schultz doesn't get prosecuted. Jared Kushner is not getting prosecuted. So just stop.
It's stupid. Really, it's so fucking stupid. This is how stupid it is. I don't know who these Pod Save guys are. I've never watched that shit. But this is how you know they are the problem.
It's a collection. It's basically four guys that worked for the Obama administration.
Okay, so they're bullshit grifters. I don't care.
Yes.
Whatever. It doesn't matter what they say, whatever little like suburbanite privileged white audience that they're speaking to will eat that shit up. Whatever, good for them.
Of course.
But what the idea that in this scenario of a Kushner Jeffries meeting, the idea that Kushner is not the one calling the shots is absurd. For them to think it's the reverse in some way, and that they have any way to get, like, the idea of them trying to expose Kushner is stupid, because at the end of the day, those morons don't realize they work for him. They're just a couple of degrees removed. They work for Empire. He is Empire.
Of course he is. And
he's at the top. They don't even realize that they're working for him. That's how.
Just as Lila says, that is exactly what this is. It's what this is. People think that they're watching an Aaron Sorkin sitcom. That's right. What they. That's
fun, and they're making money off of it, and they have their little following, and that's fucking great. Why does Ben keep coming in and leaving?
Yeah, Ben, you got to stop doing that. It's very distracting.
Seriously, you can go, because it's silly. Obviously, you're having technical problems. Like, I don't understand how anybody would watch and think they're the left, because that's silly. But yeah, those guys are a waste of time. That's a waste of time. I don't understand this at all. You were not here
to discuss the other Kushner brother. You were not here to talk about, is it Josh Kushner?
No,
I
I know
think,
the whole thing with the sporty teams and the whole thing, and he bought
yeah,
it. I've heard the story. I know. I just that falls into the category of not in my top 100 things I'm worried about.
no. But this is very important. So this is
Okay.
again, you guys know if there is one Democrat adjacent nonprofit that we do affiliate with, that we do think does really good work, it is More Perfect
More
Union.
perfect union.
They cover really important stuff. And yes, they do support the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party, between the Democrats and Republicans, it's not saying much, but
No, we're not endorsing them politically, but they provide good content.
yes.
That's all there
So
is to it.
here's some additional important information about the Kushners.
Had a busy summer. First, he tried and failed to buy a piece of the World Cup, and now he's succeeded in buying the Los Angeles Lakers. No, not Jared Kushner, his younger brother, Josh. The press likes to portray Josh as the good Kushner brother, a lifelong Democrat with a guilty conscience. He marched with Parkland.
The good Democrat with the guilty conscience. He marched with the Parkland victims. You know who this works on, Jen?
Yes, white
Fred.
suburban privileged people. That's what I'm saying.
This is tailor-made for Fred Guttenberg.
Of course. And all the other, and the suburban wine moms in their Lululemon pants driving their, Lexus SUVs or whatever. It's like, I get it. They're and same people that are going to get behind Ossoff. Same people.
Yep. Well, Ossoff is next, guys, just so you know.
Victims. He says that liberal values have guided his life. But when we dug into it, we found just another craven economic elite. Josh was actually the first billionaire Kushner brother, money he made largely at the expense of ordinary Americans. Forbes describes him as a liberal who co-founded a health insurance company built around Obamacare before his brother Jared's father-in-law died.
Can we pause it and think about that in the same sentence? He's considered a liberal that founded a health insurance company. Think about that for a second.
With a heart.
He's a liberal with a heart. Right, a liberal so he's considered like liberal, and that would be affiliated with the left. And this is somebody who founded a health insurance company. There is nothing liberal about that.
Donald Trump became president. The real story is that when Josh was 24 and a student at Harvard Business School, he founded his own venture capital firm called Thrive Capital. His first big business play was to create a private insurance company that operates through the Obamacare exchanges, and that company has the highest denial rate of any major ACA.
So he profited off of Obamacare by further fucking people that were already fucked into needing Obamacare. That's what we're dealing with here. Okay.
This also, Jen, mute yourself if you can. We're going to have to do this tonight, unfortunately. This also speaks to the bigger Jewish conspiracy when it comes to the banking scandals. Who in the fuck is Josh Kushner, considering who his father is and what their families have been involved in, and he's getting hundreds of millions of dollars to start these companies? It's a small club, and you're not invited. There is nothing unique about this person. There is nothing unique about his psychopathic brother at all. Nothing unique. They're just in the right place at the right time, and they are chosen. And because they're chosen, they can get away with this, or at least they've been able to get away with it. Can you imagine?
They're just Nepo babies. They're Nepo babies. That's what we're dealing with here.
But shitlib America embraces Josh Kushner, the motherfucker that just teamed up with Bob fucking Iger, CEO of Disney, to buy the Los Angeles Lakers. Hey, Lila, how you liking that shit in Southern California?
She's not happy. She's not happy. I saw her put something in there about that, Lakers.
The idea that they celebrate this fuck and he runs a health insurance company with the highest denial rate. I'm not suggesting that Luigi Mangione has another visit that he has to make, but somebody might.
We need there to be, like, instead of a Santa Claus, we need like a Luigi Claus. We need someone who goes around. I mean, obviously we don't have to go through chimneys. That's kind of silly, especially in places where you don't have that. But yeah, we need a Santa Claus to handle the situation. What
is the difference between Josh Kushner and Brian Thompson? explain what the difference is, because there isn't one. In fact,
No, well, they're all connected. They're all connected. Look at this. These are
Basically,
these
Kushner
people
figured
knew.
out a way to collect publicly subsidized premiums from people who don't get insurance through their job and then deny a quarter of their claims. He and Jared raked it in as the co-owners of the real estate company behind the Kushnerville slum operation in Baltimore.
Nice. Slumlords. Good. Always nice to add that to your resume.
another Jewish stereotype, because that's what they're known for in commercial real estate, being multifamily slumlords. And when we think of Baltimore, Baltimore is one of the most crime-infested cities in the country. And one of the reasons it's such a dangerous place is because of things like this. When you can't have basic needs taken care of, you have criminals, the real criminals. I'm not saying that street crime is a good thing, but what I'm telling you is that street crime is a result in most cases of white collar crime. That's how it gets there. That's how it comes. That's how this cycle repeats itself.
Exactly.
You'd have to, yeah.
Sanity clause.
Exactly.
And somebody who goes around and and we put that up last week, that list of all the healthcare CEOs, these people, they're parasites.
Yes.
They're parasites. And there's only a few ways to deal with parasites. And generally it doesn't involve them continuing to exist.
Bingo.
But lately, he's gone all in on AI. Josh's fund Thrive invested in AI weapons company Real, which then maximized his investment with a $20 billion defense contract earlier this year. And Thrive Capital is one of OpenAI's biggest and closest investors. Josh has even been called Sam Altman's fundraising Sherpa. Kushner stuck by Altman's side through an attempted ouster in 2023.
Okay, again, pause. Sam Altman, the incestuous pedophile. Continue. I'm going to say that every time I hear his name.
Can we just
pedophile.
Sidebar real quick? If Sam Altman was not Sam Altman, you got to mute yourself when I'm talking, Jen, unfortunately.
I don't hear anything. It's fine.
Okay. That's gonna. If Sam Altman was anybody else, this guy molested his sister for years. And he orchestrated a murder. What murder? I'll prove it to you. Because he is at the top of the capitalist food chain, even though it's actually kind of a conspiracy that he's even there to begin with. And his company doesn't make money, by the way. Did you realize that? Does anybody realize that OpenAI doesn't profit?
Don't you think it's sort of, okay, I think of it the same way how Amazon started out. It's the same premise. It can only exist as a succubus. It otherwise wouldn't stand on its own until it does by a parasitic thing. And because that's what Bezos did. Bezos operated at a loss for years. And he was able to do that and get it subsidized. And that's the same kind of shit. They don't have to make money. They can sit and sell the promise of making money, and there's enough people that will sign up for that. And yes,
his sister has come out repeatedly, forever, talking about how he molested her when he was a teenager and she was a child.
And it went on for years. It wasn't a one-off thing. Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
Have you seen his eyes? It's like Kushner. There's nothing there. Evil.
Altman rewarded that loyalty with a sweetheart deal, allowing Thrive to keep buying OpenAI shares at an old fixed price while the valuation exploded. It gets worse. Josh set up a second company called Thrive Holdings, which buys up ordinary service companies, accounting, IT, and automates the work with OpenAI products. And OpenAI took a stake in Thrive Holdings too, which means that OpenAI and Thrive are invested in each other, and both of them get richer as the automation spreads. It's a circular, self-serving deal that comes at the direct expense of white-collar workers who are losing their jobs to AI. And that brings us back to the Lakers sale. The press predictably has implied Kushner's motivation by calling him an avid sports fan. But the sale was about business, not pleasure, specifically the business of AI. In a letter to investors last week, Kushner said he believes that AI is going to ruin so many experiences that people will increasingly value the remaining things that can't be automated. By purchasing the Lakers, Kushner is betting that the AI he's helping spread will degrade everything else so much that people will pay even more for things it can't replace, like sports. And he wants to be able to profit from that, too.
Do you still think that Jeffries met with Kushner for tea and crumpets? Is that what you think they met for?
Or better yet, do you really think that AIPAC Shakur is the one holding the cards? He's on their payroll. Okay, see, this is how I used to explain it to my kids. It's basic. The person who is the payer holds the cards.
Correct.
The person who is on the payroll does not hold the cards. And in the case of Kushner and AIPAC, I think we know who is on the payroll versus who makes the payroll, right? So that's where we're at.
Jen,
I don't think Jared Kushner is not dancing for AIPAC Shakur.
Jen, you're sounding a little antiseptic. I got to put that out there. I just want to check you. I want to make
Why
sure
AIPAC Shakur isn't Jewish?
No, but then
he's
again,
just Jewish sycophantic Negropean.
And that brings us to the beloved, the inevitable, the incomparable, the mystical Jon Ossoff.
Wait, so people who have been paying attention realize that somehow over the past week or so, his name has been everywhere. Why is
everywhere?
that?
Coincidence.
Why is everyone talking about Jon Ossoff?
It's a total coincidence, Jen. He just happens to be a really great guy, and he's just really, really misunderstood. I think that's what it is. That's what it is.
That's my senator.
Yeah. Oh, he sure is. And just in case anybody needs a reminder of who Mr. Ossoff is and what he stands for, here is when he ran for the Senate the first time.
No.
Do you support Medicare for all?
No.
Do you support DC statehood?
Yes.
Do you support Puerto Rican statehood?
Yes.
Do you support defunding the police?
No.
Do you support abolishing ICE?
No.
Do you support expanding the Supreme Court?
No.
Do you support ending the filibuster?
Maybe.
That's fair. The maybe is the only fair answer he's had, actually. The maybe is the only tolerable answer that I have found in his responses. But by all means, continue, Jon.
The only thing you need to know about guys like this is that, again, he's handsome, he's well-spoken, he's got it going on a little bit. I'm not going to say he doesn't, but
he's okay. And they're going to try to sell him as the Gavin Newsom of Georgia.
Oh, absolutely. Everything on paper.
This is what they're trying to do. And everybody got their papers and their marching orders to start all of a sudden mentioning Ossoff. We're going to start mentioning him. Everybody mention him. We're going to mention him.
Yeah.
So
well, again, this is it. But again, is it really that surprising? I mean, is anybody really that surprised? We said that Newsom seemingly was inevitable, but in a way, it wouldn't have made sense to make him the guy because he's in California. They already have have a hard enough time selling California. Whereas Ossoff is in Georgia, which is one of the critical swing states for the Democrats, which is why it's not going to be surprising as much as it
He looks better now to me. Guys who are talking about how he looks, he actually looks better now to me than he did in that clip. I'm not going to say I don't think he looks decent and that he isn't well spoken and could actually be a decent statesman. Maybe he could be, but unfortunately, he's on the wrong side of history.
Correct.
So the fact is, and they're going to try to use it as another opportunity to shove liberal Zionism down people's throats. Because Ossoff is a quote unquote liberal Zionist, and he's going to come out saying, I don't take AIPAC money. He does, and he has. And even if he isn't anymore, he still takes money from J Street and whatever other bullshit Zio organizations in disguise. Right.
Yeah.
So he still supports the concept of a Jewish ethno state. Period. End of story. So
I always have to.
He is just a non-starter.
Yes. Well, I have to one of our attractive mods, we have to give her the benefit. She can certainly attest to whether this is a guy that she would look at and say, "Oh yeah, I would definitely talk to him." But like, no,
every woman on here, or everybody on here who finds men attractive can comment on that.
that's true.
So we all can comment on that.
And hey, listen, say what you want, but I mean, that is the difference between Ossoff and Buttigieg.
It is, and especially is when you look at the people that are the voters, which tend to be women, middle-aged women, older women.
When it comes to that Democratic base voter in the suburbs, yes, 100%. 100%.
So,
and while the sailors on the Lincoln fight his war, while he fruitlessly drains our munitions and oil reserves, the president sleeps through his meetings.
Also note the rolled up sleeves. Note the rolled up sleeves. It is staged. It is purposeful. It is not authentic.
He doesn't speak authentically. Did people not catch that?
Like, this is staged. He is very, very staged.
Extremely.
That's how I feel about him. And he does not have the grace and smoothness that Obama has. He doesn't.
Well, that's what Kendra's saying. But he is copying Obama. There's no question.
Here's the thing: he is not. Obama is one of the smoothest, coolest under pressure presidents that I've ever seen. Ever.
Absolutely.
And this guy's trying to replicate that, and that hence I'm just pointing out the rolled up sleeve look. Okay. Because he's not getting to work. It's not hot in that room. He's not getting ready to get into something dirty. So he's got to roll up his sleeves. He's standing in some sort of air-conditioned building making a speech. But he's trying
that guy
gets
that guy looks like he gets pedicures and manicures. I'm just putting
he's Metro. And here's the thing. That stuff is not a problem. I don't mind any of those things. It's important. It's important to have nice looking feet. All you men who don't get your feet groomed, shame on you. It's gross. But yeah. So that's not the problem. He is no Obama.
No, he's definitely not an Obama. That's for sure.
And no, he can't. Yeah.
He golfs and trades stocks. See, he doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Qatar.
So gratuitous. So gratuitous. Somebody from the DNC, somebody in his ear, some sort of consultant, WCCC, whatever, told him that it's an opportunity for you to kind of go viral. Bring up the president's girlfriend here. This is how we'll mention it. And it's so obvious that he was given that, like, almost like a crumb. Here, you get to throw that out.
Yeah.
It's so pathetic, and again, I don't give a rat's ass about the president, his ass wiper girlfriend. I don't know, whatever. I don't care. But it's so clear that he thinks that's a gotcha. He's making his gotcha, but it is so clearly staged, planned, and gratuitous. That's the problem. And it comes off very fake to me.
Remember to vote your Ossoff. That's the tagline. Vote your Ossoff. Yeah. Very, very smooth, you guys. It's, again, we've seen this movie before. And we know that
totally, Lila.
Well, because it's disingenuous. It's not real. It's a completely manufactured style. Now, I am going to highlight, because again, we have seen a lot of people, including Hassan Piker and Mehdi Hassan and many others that are up Ossoff's ass. They're getting their Ossoff talk.
They're getting their marching orders from Empire.
Correct.
Anybody who, and we talked about this, and I don't know when you want to get into this in terms of the money and what he's sitting on in terms of his cash on hand. And
let's get to that list. I want you to see what shit livery in real time looks like. And sorry, Lysandra Vasquez, but you're going to be put on the spot. So thank you for doing this. And now people can see what fawning over a corporate politician. Again, this is the problem with this is why liberalism is worse.
Who is this woman you're talking about? Okay.
You'll see in a second. This is why liberalism is worse, because people go back to sleep. There's a difference between liberal Zionism, if you want to call it that, or completely mask off Zionism like a Ben Gvir. You can't ignore that. It's too obvious. But in the end, they all end up in the same place.
Of course.
And that's where somebody like this lady comes in and is just a complete manifestation of all that is wrong. Guys, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please make sure you do.
And the clips of what Jon Ossoff said on stage, but I want to tell you what Jon Ossoff said to me when I got to meet him. So just for context, this is how these work. When you meet with like a politician or someone like that, you stand in a line and then there's somebody there taking the pictures and you have a couple of moments to say something, you take the picture, and then you go on about your way. Despite the fact that you've never seen me smile at a man like this, I took my few seconds that I had with Senator Ossoff to tell him this. I said to him, I appreciate that with all the presidential 2028 chatter, you continue to keep the focus on the people of Georgia and your job as a U.S. Senator. And he said to me, with excellent and respectful eye contact, mind you, we're focused.
My head is going to explode.
Who is this bimbo?
A pretty popular Instagram comedian.
Say no more. The
Okay.
truth is, if she was anything part of what our mission is, she wouldn't have been invited to that event.
That's true.
So yeah, there's a lot of things here. And the fact that she's even playing within their little sandbox is enough to tell me, yeah, she's part of the problem. You can continue.
And that's what I want in a senator. Focus. Can you imagine a world where your politicians actually did the job that they applied for and weren't just constantly trying
Yes,
to get to the next
I would
level?
love to see it.
It's not much of a silly goose, but one of my favorite moments of his are when he absolutely reads people for filth, like Pete Hager said. He like does it in like the most professional, like grounded way, and I'm just like, I don't know, that's my senator, and he holds them accountable. So we live in the state of Georgia.
Okay.
Make sure you're registered to vote. Early voting starts in 8 weeks, and let's vote our Ossoff. Boop.
Okay. So this woman is your stereotypical white, liberal, suburbanite, very privileged individual. That's who this is. And these people are okay with slogans and catchphrases like focus. We're going to focus, like it means anything to say that, because her life is really good. So it doesn't really matter. She just needs somebody to like wear the suit and look professional and have a nice demeanor and say it nicely. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's pathetic. It's pathetic. So, and it's anybody who thinks that talking to these people will get you anywhere, you're silly. That's like going up, please, sir, can I have some more? No, fuck those people.
Now, there's a few layers here, very important layers that we have to unwrap. It is obvious that Ossoff there's a couple of things at play here. The first one is he will be reelected to the Senate in Georgia. That is going to happen. He is running against, in my opinion, probably the worst Republican in the entire state, in Mike Collins. If you guys don't know who Mike Collins is the crazy person that everybody pretends that Marjorie Taylor Greene is. Marjorie's out there, but Marjorie's not a psychopath. This guy, Mike Collins, he really is out of his mind. And he's a, super bigot. All the worst elements of Dixiecrat Republicanism, that's who this guy is. So Ossoff is going to win. With that being said.
And I see people asking if he took AIPAC money. We're going to get into more about his money. He has taken a lot of AIPAC money. He now says he's not taking it anymore. And that's the line that he has sold. And I actually went to meet with his policy person at his office. But he is still taking Israeli lobby money, just not from AIPAC. So yes, he's taken it from them in the past. He's saying that he's not anymore, but doesn't really matter because he's aligned with J Street and he's still taking Israel lobby money and he supports the existence of a Jewish ethno-state.
He sure
You
does.
you can't be like Zionist light. That's like being a little pregnant, right? Once you're a Zionist, no, bye-bye. No.
Once, and before we get there, Jen, can we just say that once you are on record saying, of all things, no on Medicare for all,
Yeah.
that's
bye-bye.
it. No one is ever going to believe you that you're going to change your stance, because to even say that you're against it ever means that you're not worth supporting. Means
No.
that you are for-profit health, which means you are for death panels. You are for the Brian Thompsons and the Josh Kushners of the world, whether you admit that you are or not. You are for them. Why? Because once you want that brass ring, and he sure as fuck wants it, you are going to do whatever is required in order to get there.
It's clear. And by the way, I was paying attention to the other things he was talking about, right? So, okay, this was back when he ran the first time. He wouldn't have said something like defund the police. I get it. But he couldn't even say abolish ICE as a so-called, I mean, more populist. You couldn't even say abolish ICE.
We already have. We never needed ICE.
No, well, that's my point. If you can't at a minimum say that, you are not on our team. You're just not. You're not just, it's like you can't just be a little bit on our team.
Exactly.
Because you're on our team with something that, okay, great, but then you're not on our team with something that is the literal boot on people's necks.
And
so
I'm not.
You're not on our team.
And you guys know I'm fairly conservative when it comes to, immigration, border, and I am not against law enforcement, but ICE does not. But ICE doesn't need to exist. No. It never needed to exist. It's a Gestapo law enforcement agency. That is all it ever was. And if you need any further proof, look at who they get to join ICE. They get wannabe commandos off. They're basically getting IOF soldiers because you know that they are not capable of actually fighting for anything.
I love you, your black socialista. I love you.
They can only go up against people that can't defend themselves. And this is, again, an example of when we look at the budgets and why. Jen, let's say.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like people who know I'm an abolitionist. I don't want any of it. I don't think we need police at all. I don't. In fact, I think that they cause more harm than good, but another story. But to not be able to say to abolish ICE it's a very bare minimum in terms of any stance in our criminal justice situation and immigration system we have right now. It's the bare minimum.
And I also
fuck that guy.
And I also want to say, do you think for 1 second that if Ossoff became president of the United States, do you think he's reducing the ICE budget in any capacity?
No, absolutely not.
Probably expand it. Probably make it even bigger. And to Kenman and to everybody else in the chat, if Ossoff is the nominee, the VP is either AOC or Whitmer. So count on it now. Expect it now. Just be ready for it. I don't want anyone to be surprised. It's Alex or it's Gretchen. So
and I think that it's funny that you're willing to say that before even seeing how the two of them perform in the primaries. Because
I don't need to.
Okay.
We saw how pathetic Kamala was. It was a debate, blah, blah, blah. And she still became VP. Didn't matter.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I don't know. I think that.
What else you got?
I think they'd have to go. At the end of the day, I could see they'd go with Whitmer before they would go. Alex is going to end up face planting so badly by the end that it won't be salvageable. She's going to come off looking like a stupid kid. And Whitmer has been a chief executive of a state, albeit a shitty one, albeit there are people in her state that don't have clean water, and she seems okay with that and okay covering that up. And I think she's a psychopath with crazy eyes, but she will come off infinitely more capable. And in fact, she is more capable. She's been the chief executive of a state. Alex has never been the chief executive in this capacity, you
Yep.
know, and I reiterated over and over again that going from a legislator to a chief executive, it's, you know, that's like, I can't explain. It's like if your cardiologist is not the same as your podiatrist. You don't just, it's not the same skill set. It's not the same knowledge base. It's a whole different thing. So it makes more sense for somebody like Whitmer. And again, I think she's a psychopath and I think she's disgusting.
in
I
the
would never
eyes.
vote for her.
It's in the
Well,
eyes,
she has
Cisco.
crazy eyes, but she's more qualified than Alex by miles, like not even within the same category.
Yeah.
Truthfully,
You
like
cannot
Alex
be
is out of
fooled.
her element.
Yeah, you're out of your element, Allie. And keep in mind, this is, you know, again, this is why I preface it with, if I'm giving positive coverage to Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, I always preface it with, until proven otherwise, I can appreciate what they're doing, particularly on Israel-Palestine, but you don't just trust them. And the way that people just trust Ossoff, that are just embracing him, at some point, how many times do you have to watch this movie? And I mention this because, good news, Angie Nixon will be back on the podcast very soon. Her campaign comms
You
director
better believe it,
reached out to me
Kenman.
today.
Drinkosaurus, baby, 46 ounces in one bottle,
Yes.
but yet fits in a regular cup holder. Oh yeah.
So I want to conclude this segment with a very important piece of information that many of you probably don't know. So as of, numbers have probably changed somewhat. I'm not going to say that they haven't changed at all, but post primary election, Angie Nixon within 24 hours was sitting on just under $500,000. Would you care to guess how much Jon Ossoff is sitting on right now? $42.5 million. And on top of that,
And those are both statewide seats for U.S. Senate
oh
in
yeah,
the Democratic Party. So he's sitting on 40 plus million, and she's sitting on less than $1 million.
correct. And let's not even compare the population sizes, because Florida is twice the size of Georgia in terms of population.
Well, we
But
already
keep-
know it is. We already know this. This has already happened. The Florida Dems have already done that. The chair of the state party has already said she's not supporting her. They're disgusting.
Boston Schultz is not doing it.
Yeah, they're disgusting. They're not even, again, not that Democrats are that different anyway, but these guys aren't even Democrats. You know what I mean? So not that Democrats are better than Republicans, but these guys aren't even that. They really are
Man,
just Republicans.
You got
Yeah,
a
so
lot of
different.
you got a lot of admirers in the chat this evening. You go.
Oh, well, thank you, Patrick.
So it is important to keep this in mind. Couple things. Do you think Jon Ossoff is going to give any money whatsoever to Angie's campaign? The answer is no. Do you think Ossoff is going to give a lot of money to the DCCC and the DNC? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Do you-
am spoken for, Patrick, but thank you. That's very sweet.
Does anybody think for 1 second that if you're not in the club, you will get any real legitimate support? I mean, listen, Angie will inevitably end up raising a few $1 million.
Yeah.
But Ossoff is running for president of the United States. He is going to probably spend of the 42 million, which, by the way, I'm still getting fundraising emails from that son of a bitch. Still getting them. I really hate to ask you for more money, Peter,
Right.
but
So, but let me, and here's another sign. Not only have I suggested nobody ever gives another dollar to any other campaign ever, but any candidate who is sitting on that kind of money has to be looked at with suspicion.
yes.
Because the only way that somebody can raise that kind of money is if they're working for empire and they're in line with the elite and they kowtow to the Epstein class, like, right? All of those things. If you don't, you can't raise that kind of money. So anybody who has that kind of money is suspicious.
You forgot one other important detail, Jen.
Yeah.
He is chosen.
Yeah.
He is chosen. Got to keep it 100. Very important. Angie Nixon, in a just world, is the type of person that the people would get behind. But people like Lysandra Vasquez are too busy making, shoot your, I can't help it because that was just put in the chat, shoot your shot videos at Jon Ossoff. That's my senator. That's my guy. I love him. This is not a popularity contest. This is not running for prom king. This is to be leader of the free world. And yet we look around at everybody who cannot see the forest through the trees. And this is in the very early stages. But like I said, you can see the commentary online. You can see people fawning over him already. This is a man who has taken almost $1 million already from the Israel lobby. This is a man who talks constantly about how I'm not taking the AIPAC money, but he's taking the J Street money. You understand, ladies and gentlemen, that there are dozens of pro-Israel nonprofits on Capitol Hill that fund the entire operation. It's everywhere. What do you think DMFI does? What do you think Greenblatt's ADL does? What do you think J Street does? AIPAC is an excuse. That's not to say that they're not evil as fuck. They are. But if you do not understand political speak, then you're already 5-10 steps backwards.
I would say that AIPAC is to the Israel lobby what Netanyahu is to the Zio state. It's what they're going to use to try to send down the river, so you think that everything's going to be okay as long as we get rid of those things. They're going to try to put all the focus on that, so that's the only thing you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The people who sell empire, even for a second, like Mehdi Hassan, who we know personally, there is no apologizing for this shit. And maybe that's why Mehdi refuses to come on our channel, because he knows that we will not play ball. We will not make it easy for him to have a conversation. I had to sit in a fucking room with him talking about how this is in front of people who are Palestinian, who had mass murdered families listening to this guy talk about how you must support Kamala Harris. I'm telling you now, because when it happens again, when you are told to get in that voting booth and vote your ass off, because Trump and Vance or Rubio, you understand why this system can't sustain itself, and it will not. It's not going to happen overnight, but inevitably it has to collapse, because we are all on a train ride to hell, and I don't want to stay on that train. I want to get off it. I want to take a new path. And you know who is fighting for us to take a new path, Jen? Mark Ruffalo is fighting. He is using his position as a legitimate celebrity in our culture. There are people that are portrayed as celebrities, and then there are people who are actual celebrities, people who actually use their position. Mark Ruffalo is a great actor. If you haven't seen Spotlight, I think that may be the best performance of his career. Spotlight is also an amazing movie because it is about the Catholic Church abuse scandal that got swept under the rug by the Boston Archdiocese. So that would be a great example of a film to watch. And he's done a lot of other good stuff. And I know a lot of people like the Hulk and things like that. But in the end, at heart, Mark Ruffalo is an activist. This is a guy who was on it for the Dakota Access Pipeline. This is a guy who was in it for Bernie Sanders back in 15 and 16, when Bernie was the Bernie we were hoping he would be. This is a guy who has always put himself forward against the worst ills of our society.
Yes. He's the real deal. I like him. He's on my team. And so I'm going to automatically be on his team, right? Because I mean, he's been in solidarity with everything that I've cared about since I've been paying attention to him.
And if anybody in this chat,
I love that movie too. I love that movie, Lila. And that was one of his earlier films. And that's with Laura Linney. And it was a really good movie. Yeah.
And if anybody
could
could speak to, if anybody could speak to whether or not Ruffalo is a decent guy, if there was anything wrong with him, Lila would let us know. So it's good to know that there are some decent people out there.
Well, and I'm the kind of person that I don't necessarily care if somebody's an asshole personally. I don't like that's not my concern if they're on the right side of history. But I have not heard anybody who's worked with him say anything bad about him. And you would think that if there was shit by now, we would have heard a lot of bad shit, right? So I have no reason to think he's not sincere.
As you know, David Spivak is friend of the show. Jen's favorite former Zionist, I should say, former Zionist.
Yes.
Both who grew up in that environment.
Precious blueberry.
Precious blueberry.
Precious blueberry.
Do you want the Zionist first or the anti-Zionist first? Which way should we go?
Let's show her first. Let's end with David. Because if at least that, it's better. Because this girl gets the hit list. So let's lay the foundation here. You guys know who are my two least favorite pro-Israel lobby handlers. They say AIPAC handler, it's the Israel lobby handlers. In male form, if you can call it that, it's Rabbi Shmuckwad Shmuley. In female form, it's Noah Tishby, and it's obvious that she is a pro-Israel handler for major celebrities. That is her role. That's what she does. And so Mark Ruffalo decided to voice his opinion about Larry Ellison, the biggest Zio scumbag of them all. If you are not aware, ladies and gentlemen, Larry Ellison, CEO of Oracle, is the biggest funder of the IOF in the world. There is no one who gives more money to the Israel death squad than this man, among other things that he's done, including buying CNN. What else did he buy? What was the other thing? Oh, he bought CBS. He bought CBS. Hello, Barry Weiss. He bought CNN. And now he's trying to merge and purchase Paramount with Warner Bros. And are you suggesting, that's
anti-septic? Very much.
No, that Mark Ruffalo had some crazy idea that maybe that merger wasn't good for, I don't know, everyone else for a variety of reasons. And I'm sure, being that he's an intelligent person, that he probably even was kind enough to spell those reasons out in whatever it was that they all calling him Again, I haven't read it because I don't honestly care. I know who the good guy is. I know who the bad guy is. I don't need to know the details of this bullshit. I don't need that in my head. So whatever it is he said that got all their panties in a bunch, seriously?
Let's hear from the Zionists, because clearly Ruffalo suggesting that Larry Ellison should not do this, that it must be because he's an anti-septic person.
Oh, of course.
Or at least he doesn't think that he is. Let me tell you what happened. This week, Mark went after David Ellison and oddly also his father, Larry Ellison, over the Paramount Warner Bros. Merger. He called Larry, who isn't even a part of the deal at all, a classic oligarch. And then he went...
The audacity! He called him an oligarch! He owns all the media, but he called him an oligarch.
Did you notice how she went full Hebrew by hawking up her phlegm while she was talking? I caught that.
No, but notice she's got her Star of David on her neck.
Of course, absolutely. Absolutely.
This is also,
gotta
again,
represent.
And this is another rhinoplasty situation we're having. But okay, continue.
Come
on. This whole rant about Larry's company, Oracle, has these profoundly scary technologies that one day will be used on you.
Yes,
once again, Larry Ellison is not.
Bitch.
You have one of the board members of Oracle who is Israeli, who said that, and I quote, that they use Oracle's deadly technology against the Palestinian people in Gaza. She's on record saying it. What are we missing here? Your
This is
Hasbro
Noah
is-
Tishby. This is not, yeah, but because Lizzie
Did I not
Savetsky-
say? I said that to you.
But actually, no, but Lizzie Savetsky, I would say, is more of a ripoff of Noah Tishby than the other way around. But
Oh, we got this one too.
no, I don't think, I don't find her as like, I don't find her gross looking. I'm just pointing out she has a rhinoplasty, but anyway.
I would definitely say that Lizzie Savetsky is a lot closer to a jigsaw too than Noah.
Oh,
Tishby.
yes. Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Sure.
About his son and Oracle, not a part of the deal at all. In response, Paramount issued a statement saying that they're troubled to see anti-Semitic tropes invoked in a business dispute. But Mark,
So you're never allowed to call out an oligarch if they happen to be Jewish because that's a trope.
Hmm.
Do you guys see, do you see that logic? It's like, it can't, it's completely, what do you call it? What do you call that when it's like it can't exist like at the same time, right? It's ridiculous.
Okay, I am going to say one thing about Tishby, and I'm not saying this because it's a common.
This is true too, though, by the way.
Okay, so if you want a funny, tasteless Jewish joke, what is a Japs version of natural childbirth? Have you heard this one?
No, but I know that it'll probably annoy me.
No makeup.
That's hilarious.
It is. It's funny.
Not really. No, not really.
Just a little bit. Just a little.
Not to me.
double down.
No.
He put out a whole statement telling us that some of his friends, his best friends, in fact, are actually Jewish. Mark, that is not a defense. Nobody's called you an anti-Semite. Paramount said that you're invoking anti-Semitic tropes, and the fact that you can't even see that, that's exactly the problem. You see, you don't have
Oh,
to be
you
Jewish
stupid
individuals
bitch.
in order to promote dangerous, age-old anti-Semitic tropes about the Jews.
No, the fact that you can't see that you're a corporate whore is what's really the travesty, but you know.
Getting in the way of the bottom line is always the goal. And if you get in the way of the bottom line, they will come after you with everything they have. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why Mark Ruffalo is in the crosshairs of the Zio scum is because he is getting in the way of corporate special interests. He is getting in the way of their bread. And when you get in the way of billions of dollars coming to the table, he's lucky he's well known.
She talks like a spoiled brat. That's what she talks like. And I'm going to suggest it's because she is.
Just a slight amount.
So,
Why do you think she gets along so well with Deborah Messing?
Things like Jewish billionaires, Israel, shadowy technology, secret control over the world's biggest media companies, insinuate.
It's all true. All of it is true. All of it.
so if they happen to
All
be
of it.
Jewish, then we're not allowed to comment on the Epstein class.
Correct.
Mm,
It's
not
all
buying
true.
it, baby. Go away.
About oversized Jewish power, money, and general bloodthirstiness. Sometimes anti-Semitism is like water to a fish, so actually, I believe you. I do. I think that you think that you're not anti-Semitic. It just subconsciously makes sense to you. All of it. The genocide lie, the father and son connections, this oversized
The
Did you just say
genocide.
the genocide lie?
Yeah.
The genocide lie.
Oh my God.
Jewish power, and just like that, poof, just like that, you're entangled in the exact same anti-Semitic tropes of the last thousands of years. And you don't even see this. It's your subconscious biases against Jews. It's the subconscious actual belief that Jews are just too powerful. You know, they just have this mythological superpowers. They're controlling the media, manipulating governments, starting wars, wielding endless money. People actually think that's true. One side of Jew hatred dehumanizes us as beneath society. The other side of anti-Semitism dehumanizes us as secretly running it. Both are anti-Semitic tropes.
And both are true. They're true. So you can scream from the mountaintops as loud as you can. You can threaten as many people as you can possibly threaten. It doesn't matter. Too many people now see through your game, and the game is rigged, and we're going to unrig it. This is not an average everyday person. This is not a workaday mailman who happens to be a Jew. No, you know what this is? This is a privileged, connected Zionist Jew who does nothing for a living, who works within a
We need to
corrupt
finish so I don't have to keep
political
looking
system.
at her. I can't keep looking at her.
Can I just finish what I'm saying, please?
Please, and then make it finish.
There are too many people that are still perhaps caught up in this, but to Ruffalo's credit, he doesn't play into this. He doesn't buy it, and he's not going to. And hopefully that's a precedent that is set for other people. The only problem is that Ruffalo is very financially set for life. So he's in a different situation than most, who can basically tell her to fuck off. I wish everybody would do the same thing.
Under which one of them do you think you land, Mark? And when we point this out to you, instead of stopping to listen, I mean, after all, we're all still learning, right? You're doubling down, gaslighting us, accusing Jews of weaponizing anti-Semitism. When allegedly talking about a business deal, you're pulling strings, connecting these weird dots from here and from there about father and son, and fear-mongering of world dominations and weapons that will be used on you. Those are the anti-Semitic tropes. So, Mark, you have a criticism against the merger? Criticize the merger. Just do not reach for 2,000 years old conspiracy theories to make your case. And when we point this out, maybe for once, stop talking and actually listen.
You know, a good Scotsman years ago sat down with Barbara Walters and said, you know, sometimes a woman's just got to be smacked. Don't make me smack you, sweetheart. I'll do it. Well, if a lady needs to be smacked, it's certainly somebody like Noah Tishby.
Ugh. She's just so gross.
Now let's see the other side of the coin with a more honest operator. Friend of the show, David Spivak, explaining exactly what the truth is. You see, that's the Zionist perspective. Here's the anti-Zionist perspective.
Who do you trust more? Mark Ruffalo or the billionaire who made the largest single donation in IDF's history?
Can we just for a second...
Who would we trust more?
You know, I didn't realize how much Larry Ellison has mangled his face.
Oh, he's disgusting. He's to me encroaching on Mickey Rourke territory with that face.
Oof, that's scary shit.
Yeah, me too. So, Mark, stop defending yourself against this ridiculous accusation of anti-Semitism. Please let me do it for you. So you shouldn't have to list every Jewish person that you love whenever you defend Palestinians. Larry Ellison isn't Jewish people, Oracle certainly isn't Judaism, and Israel's military isn't our identity. So criticizing any of them is not anti-Semitism. All right, so this is the trap. So they fuse Israel with Jewish identity and then treat criticism of Israel as an attack on every Jew so that the Ellisons can shield Israel from everything. And then they keep doing what billionaires do, buy power, buy influence, and buy the fucking narrative. But they can't buy what Mark Ruffalo has, people who actually like him. So Mark uses his influence to defend Palestinians. Ellison uses his fortune to support the military that continues to murder them. He could donate to anything, but this asshole chooses to make a record-breaking donation to Israel's genocide.
Record 53.8 million raised for IDF soldiers at Beverly Hills Gala. Larry Ellison personally donates 16.6 million, says since Israel's founding, we have called on the brave men and women of the IDF to defend our home. You mean defend your business interests? That's what you really mean.
Army. Mark, you never have to defend your character to him. The Ellisons made billions through data, surveillance, and government contracts. Now the family wants to buy CNN, HBO, and Warner Bros. This isn't about profit. It's about influencing what millions of Americans see, hear, and believe about Israel, because that's their first priority. This isn't an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. It's an indisputable fact. That's why Mark scares them so much, because he's reaching people they can't. And then he makes those people care about Palestinians. So they call him anti-Semitic and hope everyone stops listening. Mark is using his power to defend people without power, while the Ellisons, they're using their fortune to protect the powerful. So Mark is risking his career to oppose a genocide, and the Ellisons, they're using their fortune to protect one. So spare me the character assassination. We know who the asshole is.
Oh, we know. We know. That's why when I heard about this, I didn't need to read what Mark said about the merger. I don't need to read that, because to even suggest that he has any hate in his heart is absurd. It's just silly. It's just silly. And Larry Ellison is the spawn of Satan. So I don't need to know the details. Yeah, I'd love to see Mark Ruffalo on our live stream too, but anybody, if you have a connection.
Lila?
I don't know why you think Lila. She said she met him once and he was a really nice guy. She did say that before.
I'm not afraid of losing my Hollywood career, and I will continue to speak up for Palestine. Now, why can't more people just conduct themselves like that?
Well, and he recognizes that he's very privileged, but the whole beauty of Ruffalo is that he's always recognized his privilege, which is why he's on the correct side of history all the time, because he's always lent his privilege. He understands that. So he is willing to risk it. He knows he has it to risk. That's the whole point.
Yeah. He's got guts.
He has guts and he has privilege. So both of those things are true.
But doesn't it also speak to, because they've come after him as hard as they have, that they're actually really concerned about him, that they think he has a certain level of influence that is detrimental to their cause?
He has a level of integrity that is detrimental to their cause. And it isn't just him. There's people like him, and you got like Javier Bardem and Susan Sarandon, and there are people that do that. But in this moment, apparently, that's the person that they want to point out, because he dared to speak out what is really an economic labor issue and turn it into an anti-Zio issue, when in fact it has us all distracted. So it's working, because we're all distracted sitting here debating as to whether or not Mark Ruffalo is anti-Semitic, which is absurd, instead of talking about the actual merger that is dangerous for so many reasons. It's very scary. And him pointing that out really has absolutely nothing to do with Zionism and everything to do with corporatism, cronyism, and, anti-labor policies. That's what we're talking about. It isn't just, it has nothing to do with the Zionism aspect. And they know that. They know that. Noah Tishby knows that.
Wouldn't
she's
that
just a
also, well, of course. But at the same time, wouldn't that also speak to this issue in the context that, I mean, look, Tishby is not the only one. I mean, this went through but this has been like the talk of the town for like the last 48 hours.
Right. Instead of the merger.
Of course. Instead of talking about
guys, you're so distracted.
And it's not just, this isn't the first one. In the last year, he's done 2 of the biggest mergers in the history of the world. And the second somebody steps up and says, maybe we should stop allowing this to happen. I mean, it is written, we have anti-monopoly laws written in our government. This is not supposed to exist. We know that we're at the end stage of empire. We know that things are falling apart. But at what point are people just going to accept that? It's like skydiving. You have a parachute on, but people are afraid to jump out of the plane and pull the parachute. Because in the end, it's almost like you're going to have to push them out of the plane. You just have to push them out, because there's just no other way. You're not going to convince people that something better is coming on the other side if you actually stand up against the tyranny of your government. No one lives forever. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. Jen and I have taken great risks in our own lives to do what we do. We've been threatened. I have personally faced economic hardship as a result of doing this. And it isn't to get a pat on the back. It's to encourage others to do the same. Because in the end, we will lose everything if we don't fight back. As Jen would say, the caucasity, even though she wouldn't identify as a white person because it's not Jewish advantageous to do so, Tishby is the embodiment of everything that is wrong. And I do mean everything. The person conducts herself as a victim when she spends her entire life surrounded by the most influential, powerful wealth in the world. And they still play victim. I mean, at what point do we just say enough is enough? If you're enjoying this conversation so far, which we hope
before you wait, before you get to that, look who's here. Hey, Steve.
What's up, Steve? If you are enjoying this conversation so far, which we hope you are, please consider going over to patreon.com/revolutionary change for as little as $5 a month. You can become a supporter of our small but mighty, despite heavily suppressed yet still growing channel. We only have a few super chats so far, but we wanted to get to this because Sam is running a few minutes late. I would definitely message Rachel to make sure that, I mean, he did say he would be here at 8:30 Eastern. So again, here's hoping. That's the game we play. Louise Brooks with the $20. Love you guys. Thank you for all you do. Free Palestine.
Thank you, Louise.
Very nice of you to contribute such a nice amount. Appreciate it. Jim Talib with the $5. Always great to see you, pal. Appreciate your support. Comrade Cranky with the $5. To be a progressive Democrat, you must support the Banderites in Ukraine, and you must forget about Gaza. I see what you did there. I understand what your point is.
It's sarcasm.
Yes. Basically, if you support the Democratic Party, truly support the Democratic Party, you're on the road to nowhere. It is not going to end well, nor should it. Pirate Justin with the $2. Salute to Ruffalo. Fuck Larry Ellison. Fuck Zios.
Yes.
You said it, not me, but I'm not going to complain.
Mm-mm.
Citizen Bendejo with the 50 pesos. Again, we must demolish the notion chosen are entitled to special treatment. As for the trope, anyone who concedes they run the world will never win an election. Well, I don't know about that one. I mean, they do seem to be winning a lot. They for now, they have seemed to have been winning quite a bit. It is very unfortunate.
And
Don't
then look,
forget,
we have a lifetime member now, so you got to play it after this one.
We have a
You see
lifetime
it?
member.
We do.
Oh, okay. And H299 with the $4.99 super sticker. Thank you very, very much. All right, maybe I'm a little confused here, Jen, so you're going to have to fill me in.
Okay, so this is someone who has one of our people from the very, very beginning of time, who's been one of our OG supporters.
Guy.
And he recently reached out and isn't going to be able to anymore. And I looked, and it's like the amount of money that we've gotten from him. It's like, there's no way that I'm not gonna. So guys, if you all reach the Guy Giberson over $1,000 level, well over $1,000 level. So I'll even say, if you guys reach the $1,000 donate level, and
You want a lifetime spot?
you get to be a lifetime patron. But yeah, and there was no way I was gonna say anything. And when somebody asked in the chat who was Steve, who I said, hey, look, it's Steve, another one of our people that's been like supporting us from the beginning of time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
no,
what it is. So that's what it is. So and Guy has been amazing to us.
Yeah. And one of our OGs as well, Schultze. It's to the death. Empire is serious about doing whatever is necessary to remain in control. Yes, that is correct. they will do whatever is necessary to maintain their position. And at the same time, continue to push the narrative that they are never, and I mean ever, going to let go of it. You are going to have to pry it from their cold, dead hands. And I thought, was that Sam? No, it's Ben again.
No,
I don't know
Ben
why he
again.
keeps doing that. It's getting annoying.
Oh, he put something in the chat. That must be a Rumble chat.
Mary Ploppins with the $2 Rumble rant. Thanks for keeping it real, for Peter bringing back his Superman curl. That's just how my hair falls when I brush it to that side. But hey, if it works, it works. I'll dig. I dig. We are not going to wait. The show will go on. If Sam
The
is
show
late,
will go on. The show always goes on.
it does. We have talked at length about what goes on the international scene regarding Zionists and Israelis at large fortifying their positions. We have been clear that while a lot of people are focused on West Asia and what is going to happen there and continues to happen, because it's not good, do not forget about how detrimental things are in South America. If you think things are bad in Argentina, don't forget that Colombia just installed, and yes, I'm saying installed, there is no way that son of a bitch got elected legitimately. That's a CIA coup. I'm just putting it out there.
Wait, which one? I'm sorry. Who was?
Esprella. De la
Oh.
Esprella in
Oh.
Colombia. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You thought the Israelis are taking over Argentina? They're taking over Colombia as well. There has to be an explanation. It requested rescue support from only El Salvador, the US, Ecuador, and Israel.
That is a total red flag, people. That's not normal.
A 7.5
Red flag for a false flag is what I think.
7.5 magnitude earthquake. And this is all you asked the help from?
Then you're not
Something's not
serious.
adding up.
That's not serious.
No. And that's also, by the way, because of that, this is getting people in the country killed. Yeah. This is all about money and power.
Oh, good
Yeah.
to know. We'll check that out, guys. Definitely, if you're not following Geopolitical Economy Report, it's very much worth a follow.
May I please? Mr. Dunham, thank you for that information. The CIA is 98% the issue. I believe as the made Palantir, the gross tyrannical overreach monopoly, consuming democracy here, and soon in Argentina too. Peter Thiel moved to Argentina. Of course he did. This is what they do.
Están certificados, pero ahora piden otra certificación. Hasta este momento se registran 262,000.
Prioritized restoring relations with Israel. President Sheinbaum of Mexico offered to help, and they rejected it. Why would they reject help?
Right? That's not a thing. That in and of itself gives you all the information that you need. That's not serious. That's a false flag. That's not.
Nos encontramos en este momento en los escombros de un edificio en el sur de Cali.
Now, I know not too many of you can read Spanish, but users in the comments called it a photo op. Con el uniforme impecable, fueron solo a tomarse la foto. So, what that translates to is an impeccable uniform, he was alone taking the photo. Bullshit. Basically, they're implying that he's a liar, that he wasn't actually doing anything to help. I concur 100%.
Bajo este edificio hay probablemente...
Me parece muy incómodo de que porque la presencia de los israelíes acá, ahorita los muchachos somos los guerrilleros y las primeras líneas. A mí me parece eso totalmente ofensivo. Este señor nos está insultando y que le miren las manos a ver cómo las tiene él y cómo las tenemos nosotras. Ya, nuestras manos están abolladas, nuestros dedos están moreteados, las piernas de nosotros están moreteadas.
And there it is. All you really need to know. The former President Petro broke off ties with Israel. The CIA needed to do a coup to get him out and put in De La Sprela, who is a puppet and is giving in to have this relationship restored with Israel. How much more obvious can they make it? Jen?
Oh, I'm
Distracted?
I am distracted, but I also feel like we know where this is going. I think that they are working to complete the complete takeover of South America. They're working to complete the complete takeover of everywhere. And it is concerning. I don't know if you're right about the World War III thing. I think that it's going to be that the whole premise of it being world war is that it will be happening on multiple continents. But this is definitely a sign that they're co-opted. You don't not ask for help. You don't not accept help.
No such thing.
It just indicates that you're in on whatever this operation is.
We'll finish it up. And honestly, there it is. That's all you need to know. He cut diplomatic ties with Israel in 2024 over the genocide.
Yes.
And if we know anything about our country, especially at the very top, can't have that. Not in a resource-rich country like Colombia. Now, if there is somebody who can speak to just how evil our government has become. I mean, it always has been, but this is on a whole other level. It's
just reaching, the tentacles have gotten longer and are hitting more people, but the evil is still the evil. That's how I see it. The tentacles.
There's no question about it. And that to me is also why the courage of Sam and what he's been doing, I think goes without saying. You know, you and I both went to college. Not that it was a primary focus for me, but you know, journalism was something that was very important, and I cannot, in good conscience, stay silent when we're watching. I mean, listen, we're watching all of our constitutional rights erode, but freedom of the press, you know, they talk about freedom of speech, but freedom of the press is really just something that has just died. Like it really has. And Sam Husseini is somebody who has not only been fighting on the front lines for our constitutional rights, he's also somebody who's thrown his hat into the political arena in Maryland's 4th Congressional District. He's got a lot to talk about. We are very pleased to welcome Sam Husseini to Revolutionary Change.
Great to be with you folks.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you. I've been a big fan for a long time.
Thank you so much, Jen.
I appreciated watching you getting carried out of the press room. And as painful as I'm sure it was, it's inspired. It is. It's inspired because there's so few people that get access at that level that will take that kind of stand.
Yep.
So it's very refreshing and I appreciate it immensely.
Thank you. The latest thing is my confrontation with Schumer that people might have seen. The press club has banned me. And we'll see. The last time they tried to suspend me years ago for 2 weeks, and there was a bit of a furor about that, and this time I'm being banned, and there's no coverage in a lot of outlets that covered it the first back when it was just simply a suspension. So yeah, I think that things have accelerated to the what you were talking about before. and the threats are more precarious. And I think that kind of calls us to try to be as creative as possible in using every venue, that we can. In the last 3 years, I've tried to, use State Department briefings, stuff at the press club. I've tried to use legal recourse. I spent the fall of 2023 pushing for a country to invoke the Genocide Convention, which South Africa did. And now I feel like, we got to take the electoral arena to the next level. Not that it's not rigged. All of these arenas are completely rigged. But we just have to use each of them as intelligently as possible to the maximum capacity. That's how I'm entering into taking on into the fourth district here in Maryland, just outside of DC, against Glenn APAC Ivy. He basically, he's people don't know about him because he's like a sort of subdued guy personality wise, but he's like fourth or fifth in how much money he's gotten from APAC and related super PACs. It's really sort of off the charts. And so and he's in a district where the Republican can't possibly win. So there's none of this lesser evilism stuff that rots people's brains. So I think it's a unique opportunity to do what I can in the district, to energize the district, hopefully, and hopefully it'll cast a shadow into DC.
I think it's very fascinating that you were banned from the press club.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. As somebody who went to journalism school and started out doing that, it's the irony is not lost on me that a journalist is banned from the press club. Just
you'd think, it's an old journalistic cliche that, man bites dog stories are supposed to be, front page news. I'm like, well, this monument to the First Amendment that calls itself, this great voice for press freedom and so on is literally shutting me up for having spoken up at an anti-corruption event where they weren't going to take any questions.
Of course not. And this is something I want to ask you, because I actually think you might be able to answer me better than Ryan Grimm would, let's say, hypothetically. And this is something that I don't get. When we know that the people that are standing at the podium are lying to our faces, what's the point of showing up at those? It's like, that they're not telling you the truth. You know you're not getting accurate information. You know what I mean? Like, what?
I mean, my attitude, and I went to a lot of State Department briefings before and, after Israel's, accelerated massive onslaught in Gaza. And my attitude was, my job was to make their lies obvious, so that more and more people could see it. And pin down how insidious it was. Like the Biden, I asked the question that I asked the most about during the Biden tenure was, do you recognize the Geneva Conventions as applying to the Palestinians? Because it was clear if you parsed out what their positions were that they didn't, that they literally do not accept that the Geneva Conventions apply to the Palestinians, but they would never come out and say that, because it's such an insidious thing to say. So I kept chipping away, asking questions to help expose that was their actual legal philosophy, if you want to call it that. And they would go on and on about the hostages. So I asked them once about the Hannibal Directive. You know what their response was? We have no knowledge of any such directive. Because
that's funny, because the rest of us do.
Right.
So I think that's just funny that we know and the State Department doesn't know, right?
Yeah, but their fiction is that they're out to save U.S. lives, but there were U.S. citizens held in Gaza. So, I was like, you're supposed to save U.S. lives, so aren't you worried about Israel executing U.S. citizens with the Hannibal Directive, and they had no answer to that, so they had to pretend that they didn't know about it. Now, that you would have thought that would have, that the system would have gone into some kind of a collapse because they're supposed to care so much about the hostages. So I was just out to show us, and I think it's important that I did that, because now you have a lot of Biden administration people trying to rewrite history and pretend that they were really, taken in by Netanyahu
Right.
or whatever. And I'm like, no, you engaged in a massive systematic campaign of propaganda and genocide. Enabling is too weak a word. Coupling with genocide.
Well, that's the whole rewriting of history right now that Hunter Biden's crusade has basically been about. Why they're trying to
Correct.
rehabilitate him. Because
Correct.
because it is what it is, but Joe Biden is probably going to be deceased within, I would think, the next year. His cancer is metastasized and he's an old man. So it is what it is. And that's why he's going around again, he wants to preserve the Biden legacy, but they've all got blood on their hands and they will never wash it off. This is multi-generational. This is centuries going forward that people will talk about this and how everyone just stood idly by. But in my opinion, Sam, and we'd obviously love to hear your take on it, and we're going to play your clip in a second, but in my opinion, the reason why Israel and Israelis in general have been able to skate as long as they have is because, like Larry Ellison, they're all connected at the very top of the economic ladder within this broken economic and political system. It's not a question of whether people want to deal with them. It's a question of who actually makes the rules. And right now, a substantial portion of them are still in positions of power, like Jared Kushner. And as long as that is the case, we are dealing with that reality. We're trying to revolutionize that reality. But for the time being, that is the reason why I think we've been stuck in this predicament. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think that, there has been a consistent pattern of massive crimes, and then the system has a soft landing. And none of the culprits are held to account. That happened with the Iraq invasion, for example. And the Obama administration provided a soft landing for the establishment after that. And it happened before that in several iterations. And I think going forward, we have to prevent it from that. We have to dislodge as close to the root as we possibly can the culprits of this in both political parties that actually work together a great deal of the time. So obviously right now Kushner is central to what he's doing, and we're seeing him meeting with Jeffries so that they can collude while pretending to be in this big fight between the Republicans and Democrats that people get sucked into, whereas they're actually trying to ensure behind the scenes effective collusion on Israel's genocide, on economic policies, on big tech, on attacks on civil liberties, on a whole series of issues. So I definitely see the need to expose and dislodge the culprits as much as possible.
So I don't know are you running as a Democrat?
No, I'm running as a Green. The Greens in Maryland got got organized quite well and got on the ballot here in Maryland. They're the only party other than the Democrats and Republicans on the ballot. And I've known other people who've tried to run as an independent and so on, and they spend all their time trying to get on the ballot. This was literally handed to me on a silver platter, thanks to a lot of dedicated activists. Yeah.
Good.
Awesome.
Because that is the big thing people don't realize is it's not made easy if you don't have party infrastructure. It's really difficult. And it's not that it's impossible, but it is made to be as difficult as possible.
Well, let's play the clip. This will give everybody a pretty good idea of how Sam got here to this point. And obviously your work precedes you, but this is definitely a sort of an up-to-date moment here that's very critical.
My name is Sam Husseini. Last year, I confronted Antony Blinken. Last month, I confronted Democratic Party leader Chuck Schumer. Now, I'm launching a run for Congress. The genocide-enabling Republican and Democratic Party establishments must be confronted at every turn and on every front. They represent the interests of the Epstein class while relentlessly conning working people. Not only are they sending our tax dollars to Imperial Israel to destroy schools, hospitals, and housing in Gaza, money which should be going to building up schools, hospitals, and housing here at home, but their backing Imperial Israel has also made our nation more of an empire and even less of a democracy, with big tech surveillance, militarization of police, and attacks on free speech and the right to protest. We need to renew Main Street. We can no longer abide Wall Street and war machine Democrats. They are often enabling rather than hindering Trump, including with this unconstitutional attack on Iran, just the latest of these imperial Zionist wars. It has already cost us $750 per household in increased fuel and other costs in just 3 months. And Trump's issued nuclear threats while refusing to acknowledge Israel's nukes. My Democratic Party opponent, Glenn Ivey, got into Congress with millions in pro-Israel money, like AIPAC.
Oh. Okay. See, and now from seeing the photo, now it makes sense why they don't go after him. Now it makes sense to me. Oh my God. All right. Fine. Just another
And even
member of the
opposed Obama's Iran deal. We must take on the data centers, insurance companies, and abolish ICE. By working for peace, we will, as Gil Scott-Heron put it, bring ourselves closer to each other, closer to building a structure that is unique within ourselves, because we have finally come to peace within ourselves, including as a nation. I'm running outside of the 2 major parties that serve their billionaire donors. Like most of my fellow citizens, I am ready for transformational political change. By running with an independent party that rejects corporate money and super PACs, the Green Party, I am spitting out the whole corrupt political system. Please volunteer, and if you can, contribute. Let's seize this historic moment to make our country a real democracy for all.
Yeah, guys, if you're in the vicinity of that district, in the DC, Maryland vicinity, be boots on the ground, because that's really what's needed. More than money, it's you need people knocking doors. Somebody asked in the comments, and I kind of feel like I could answer, but Sam, you wouldn't support AIPAC Shakur for speaker, would you?
Obviously not. I mean, I think
Somebody asked that, and I'm
we
thinking,
gotta
no.
we gotta up our expectations. It's not just that I wouldn't support him; it's that I would relentlessly expose him at every turn.
Exactly.
You know, it's not just simply a statement or, you know, a single vote. It's, you know, what, you know, are you really going to put your shoulder to the wheel? And I've tried to, you know, make journalism mean something more than it has typically meant, and I'm going to try to do that with being a candidate now. And if I get into Congress, I'll do that with being a congressman.
I'm amazed that you've maintained access this time with the mouth like you've got. It's amazing. I'm so impressed. I mean, although I'm amazed that Max never gets invited back anywhere. I don't know why they invite Max anywhere, but like the same thing. It's, you know, it's impressive. It's sort of, it's hard to toe that line. You know, you got to maintain within certain boundaries, or you're never going to be able to get back in places. But then you have
Well,
to
I
be
mean,
able to-
I did just get banned from the press club. So, you know, and it's not like I've cursed anybody out, you know, and
No.
I haven't used profanity. I haven't, you know, used the press club in I wrote this up on my Substack. You know, they claim that I'm a threat to safety and security. Look at look at the videotape. I didn't do anything. I didn't raise my hand to anyone. It's absurd. It's absurd.
That's
After
okay.
they-
Debbie Wasserman Schultz accused Medea Benjamin of assault. So, you know, I mean,
right.
you know, you're just as threatening. I mean, if not more a little bit than Medea. I mean,
I think I'm less threatening than Medea in some ways. But I mean, like when I got dragged out, when they carried me out of Blinken's thing, they took me in the hallway and they shoved me around. I got a concussion. I had headaches for 8 months after that. You know, and there were no cameras. No one thought to go out into the hallway and see what was going on. And the State Department didn't respond when I asked them if they had any any surveillance cameras in the hallways. So they grabbed me by the shoulders and shoved me around. I didn't know what the hell they were doing. I think they were probably intentionally inflicting a concussion on me, which they did.
Do you not have is there not any recourse for this?
I've reached out to various lawyers. It is incredibly difficult to sue the federal government over something like this. I'm going to continue trying. But I was kind of surprised that lawyers didn't, leap out of the woodwork saying, let's do something on this.
Because they'll say they're acting they're going to say security was acting within their capacity in their job. And that's what'll happen.
But
so then they
in particular, I mean, if it was a private entity, then I would have been able to sue them like mad. It is the federal government has certain parameters, as I understand it, that gives them far more leeway, which seems backwards to me. But I'm a layperson in this.
Yeah. Well, look, Brian McGinnis. I know there was litigation. There was something that they filed when they broke his arm. That there was a suit filed. So
I should drop him a line. I haven't done that.
You
That's
should
a great
drop
idea.
him a line. And because when he was on with us, I asked him, I said, look, I don't need names, I don't need details, but just I want to know if you have a good lawyer. And he was very clear that he did have a good lawyer. So he made it clear that there was something going on, whatever that is. But you should find out.
Sam, what in your opinion is the current status of, Jen thinks we're in the sixth circle of collapsing empire, or the sixth?
No, the sixth phase. We're in the
phase?
sixth phase of 7 phases of the collapse of empire. Yes.
I don't like to invoke Jigsaw's name, but when I see Laura Loomer getting not just press credentials, but being flown, we all know that she's she's an agent of Israel. We know that, but it is the desecration of whatever sanctities we held as a nation. In my opinion, the Constitution is one of the only things we ever really had. And even then, it just seems now that freedom of the press, free speech, I just don't think we're coming back from this. So, we were talking earlier about, the fact that the Democratic establishment is clearly setting up Ossoff to be the guy. And if that's the case, does anyone think that he's going to change anything? All these precedents that have been set with Trump, they're not going to change because the empire is falling apart. How do you see it at this stage? Do you believe that we are heading for a full-on revolution at some point?
I see the empire as being more resilient than people sometimes give it credit for, unfortunately. It has so many tools at its disposal. I was one of the few people on the left who examined COVID origins and, biowarfare and related things. They have a lot of tools in their toolkit. And right now, our communication system is dominated by a few big tech firms, and it's very hard for people to coalesce and organize outside of that. I think I'm going to try to overcome that with my campaign. I'm going to try to be creating PDFs to, you were saying, boots on the ground, to have flyers that people can pass out and really reclaim the public square. So after the Iraq war, a lot of people said that, okay, it's all falling apart, and it reconstituted itself. And now we see it going from aggression to aggression. Venezuela, Israel killed Nasrallah. Israel killed all of the Hamas leadership. Now they're going out. It's just a juggernaut, and I think we're going to have to be a lot more organized. We can't treat this as a spectacle. We have to figure out the strategies for the empire's collapse and to try to do it in as peaceful a way as possible, because it's possible that elements of the empire will be like, okay, if we're going to collapse, we might as well, take a huge part of humanity with us.
Yes.
So this is a very grave task that I think we have to put our shoulder to. And you also talk about the U.S. Constitution. When I think about the possibility of me in Congress, I've called for impeachment of both Biden and Trump for waging illegal war, right? Biden illegally bombed Yemen, and lots of members of Congress, or at least some members of Congress, said it was unconstitutional, but nobody moved to impeach him for it. What the hell is that?
Because he's not the president. You know, it's like, right. We said forever that it's President Blinken, because it sure shit wasn't Kamala. And at the end of the day, Tony is that guy. And that's why Kushner is that guy too.
I think that there's a very strong case to be made that Blinken was his handler, or as you put it, directly the president, and quite possibly Kushner now. I mean, you know, I did a piece on the family structure. I mean, Blinken's family with Samuel Pizarro, and, you know, Maxwell tied in with Epstein, obviously, and so on and so forth. It could have been, you know, directly tied in with Epstein, or it could have been like a rival structure. And I'm shocked at how little play that got. Obviously, you know about it, but I think a hell of a lot of people don't. And it was remarkable given that he was Secretary of State and so brazen, and that he was, you know, Blinken's handler, Biden's handler for so long. You know, I mean, he was his staffer when you know, Biden was a senator. They go back like more than 20 years. And of course, we know that Biden had a proclivity for touching underage females inappropriately. So that raises a whole other series of questions that have not been meaningfully raised to my knowledge. But my point was, as a member of Congress, one of the main powers that you have is that you can put forward an article of impeachment, you know, and Al Green did try to do that a year ago against Trump for his first bombing of Iran, and he didn't do it as strongly as I would have liked, but he did it, and he's out. He lost his seat. So it seems like there's clearly a pattern of targeting anybody and everybody who actually tries to do something. But I think I would be in a unique position in that I would do something that no member of Congress has ever done, to my knowledge, which is to say, I'm going to, you know, put forward articles of impeachment against a president of either party who engages in unconstitutional war and war crimes. Period.
That's how it should be. That's the point.
It is, and I would be able to shame both sides to say, what, you know, am I the only one here who takes their pledge to the Constitution seriously? Is this all just a game and rhetoric to you? It would seem that way. Why, you know, and to push that as hard as I possibly can.
I appreciate that.
It's never an easy road. And this is something that we experienced when Jen ran against Wasserman Schultz twice. And of course, you know, we saw that there were, I told Jen, the first rule of politics is expect people to let you down, expect people to stab you in the back. Because it's warfare. You know, we talked at length earlier that we know Mehdi Hassan. And while he has certain takes that are good, he's part of the machine. There's no getting around that. And to deny the realities of this system, once you see it for what it is, you can't unsee it. And you cannot continue to play within the game that they've set up, because all roads lead to a dead end until you start, as you suggested, organizing on the outside where the pressure really comes from the grassroots. And that's what we're trying to do. You know, we're trying to use our platform in the most effective way possible. And despite what some people may think, that doesn't mean that electoral politics doesn't have value. It does.
So let Sam answer this, because it's an interesting question, and it's something that, you know, we talk about the idea of having a revolution, but at the end of the day, if there's people not on the inside that are supporting it, then it doesn't go anywhere. You have to have people on the inside supporting it. So it's a valid question.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just got through saying that I would take my oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States seriously, because I'm a person of my word. So I would probably put things in terms of a meaningful, as I did in the statement that you played. I talked about a transformation, that we need a transformation of our country. and to rip it from its empire posture, working hand in glove with the Israeli establishment for the benefit of a few oligarchs and so on. So, I would put things in those terms. And as I said, I think that we need to end this empire as quickly and peacefully as possible.
Couldn't agree more. Obviously, we will be doing what we can. We will obviously do a clip. We will encourage people to
Thank you.
support your efforts. This is obviously, again, it's a lot of work. It's not fun, but a lot
Focus
of
on the
people,
ground game.
yeah,
Focus on the ground game.
Yeah.
it's,
Anybody who's listening who's definitely in Maryland's 4th district or the area,
DC.
or if you know people who are here, get on the phone to them and get them to samhusseini.com. We've put out cards, like just little business cards with a ton of info, and I'm hoping that people will, ream off copies of them, leave them in windshields, do on windshields in parking lots, do some door knocking, anything. And I just ordered yard signs today. Anything and everything to get the word out and to jolt the system as much as possible in the little over two months that we've got here.
Have you spoken with Butch Ware?
I have. I met him very briefly at the Green Party annual meeting that I went to in Chicago about a month ago. But I didn't get to, chat with him as much as I would have liked. Somebody just volunteered, Wendy, who was his organizing director, and she's just stepped in the last 24 hours to help out with some of the organizing of this of the campaign here.
Good.
One of the things that we've criticized the Green Party of is having, Jen, you're saying, big, bright eyes, small stomach is, or
Big eyes, small stomach.
big eyes, small stomach.
Yeah.
I think this could be a really great opportunity for if the Greens really want to make an impact. Your race is as clear cut as it gets. You're not just going up against a corporate Democrat. You're going up against a person who literally is bought by the Israel lobby. And the other thing about Maryland's 4th is that I believe there are DC Metro lines that do go through the area. So for people that want to be able to get there from DC, Northern Virginia, et cetera, you have the opportunity to actually participate in an election that actually does mean something as far as we're concerned.
Where is the 4th? What's the district?
It's mostly Prince George's County, parts of Montgomery County. So it's College Park, Mount Rainier,
So there's
Laurel,
students to be
Clifton.
had.
That's
University
exactly
of
right.
Maryland.
To be had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a UM push. And then, of course, I mean, look, best advice that we could give, you need a campaign manager, you need a ground game coordinator, field director, whatever you want to call it, and you need a social media comms person. That's it. You need 3 people, and you can make a lot of things happen with those 3. I would definitely encourage you to connect with as many people within the Green circuit as possible that actually know what they're doing, with all due respect. Butch Ware is definitely somebody to connect with. Brianna Joy Gray is definitely somebody to connect with. There's a number of people out there that will definitely help. And Brianna is obviously in DC. So, that connection right there, I think, is very important. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people in left politics, especially in the line of work that we do, that will not cover your race because they work for the Democrats. Let's just call it what it is. But there are a lot of people out there that are interested in these efforts. So if you ever need to tap us, you have questions, by all means, please do. Politics is not as complicated as people think it is. You just need to have a committed group, and we call our channel Small But Mighty. That's essentially what you really need. You could build a movement out of this. Like I said, you're in a great place to do it. There are places where this works. It worked in New York for Zoran. It can work in other cities. The access to the nation's capital means a lot. So I think that there's a lot that could be done even in this short window. And so, like I said, best that we can provide, just some encouragement, but also some direction. If that helps in any way, obviously we're happy to provide it.
He's frozen, right? Peter, you froze for a second.
Yeah.
That's it.
This is my first race. You know, I've been a journalist and I've known people who ran for races and so on. And I was always antsy that they weren't more aggressive in terms of what stances they took. Like it felt to me like almost a lot of people, as soon as they started running for office, were already moderating. And
Yes.
I'm not doing that. I'm saying the exact same things now that I was saying 6 months ago. Just simply saying that we got to use every mechanism available to us in every arena, and this includes the electoral arena. And this district lives very much in the shadow of official Washington, and I want to reverse that. I want to make official Washington live in the shadow of the consciences that can be stirred in this district.
I have
Okay.
one more connection.
And one more thing, just checking. Abolish ICE, yes?
Oh, absolutely apologize.
Okay.
You know, it's
Checking,
really
that's
funny.
like the baseline, and I
So-
couldn't even, yeah, it's ridiculous.
There's a substantial Latino population here. And so when I put the cards that I was talking about, I have abolish ICE as one of my points on the card. And their reaction was, we got to stop it first. There's such a hunger for, stop the boot that's, pounding me in the face right now, and then abolish it when you can.
Correct.
But please stop it from they're stopping or tapping down all of these Latino festivals in the area here, because they're scared. It's impoverishing all of us in different ways, and it's part of, for me, it's part of a wider structure of an assault on civil liberties. ICE came out after the 9/11 and false flag anthrax attacks, right? All of these things that people are waking up to now as oppressive structures have their roots in that. I'm all ears for any counsel that you and other people can give. This is my first time running, like I say. So I'm gonna try to do everything that I possibly can.
If there is one last person that I highly recommend you connect with that might very well be in your congressional district, it is Sergeant Dennis Fritz. He is a regular on our channel. He is an amazing person. He has run for Congress before. He is definitely somebody that you want in your corner, 1000%. If there is a person of counsel that is local that I would be reaching out to, Dennis Fritz is the first guy that I would go.
Are you familiar with Dennis?
I am. I know that we've crossed paths at the same events, but we've never really sat down, I don't think. So
Yeah, he's with the Eisenhower Media Network.
right.
Yeah, those guys are great.
Yeah. I'm in touch with Matthew Ho,
Oh,
who
sure.
ran for Senate.
He's a friend.
So, absolutely, with me as well.
Good.
Awesome.
Fabulous. Okay.
Sam, thank you so very, very much. We know that your time is short and you got to do what you got to do. Keep pounding that pavement. We'll help how we can. And like I said, don't hesitate to reach out for any questions that you may have in terms of some guidance that we can help provide. And obviously, we'll be talking to you again down the road.
Great. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Jen.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Sam.
Great. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was Grun. And this is...
Yeah. But
this is what-
this is what makes somebody like him different than other candidates that we've had, right? Because this is somebody who does come from those trenches. This is somebody who has walked the walk for a while, and we've seen it on camera. So regardless of my apathy toward electoral politics, this is an individual that, is definitely a good choice for people in that district. Now, again, he knows they cheat. He knows all the shenanigans that go on. But the fact that he wants to be a thorn in their side is, I can appreciate that.
Yes. And I do think that the connection of him and Dennis Fritz will be really good. I think that'll serve him well. I think
Yeah,
they'll have some fun there.
we agree, Ross. Dennis and Matt. Well, I love the Eisenhower Network people. I do.
How could you
They
not?
keep it real. They keep it real, and they've paid the price.
We have one
No,
small...
he's not running as an independent. He's running as a green.
Correct.
He was given ballot placement by doing so. And he is the only third party running. So it's as independent as it's going to get in that district.
Absolutely. We have one final story to get to. It's a quick one.
Not
but
PBD, right?
No, definitely
Okay.
no. I don't know. Well, that's actually for Saturday. I don't even know.
I was going to say, I don't need to be talking about.
No.
I need a bong hit. This is, what are we
You're
playing?
going to need one for this one. So
Okay. Are we Zio hunting?
we are definitely Zio hunting. So I want you guys to go to Instagram because not that it's going to make any difference, because unfortunately I look at the commentary there and it's obvious that they block out any comments that are against them. So there is an Instagram, popular as it may be, popular Instagram account called Lost Tribe. And this is all pro-Israel Hasbara of the highest order. This shit is absolutely mind-blowingly insane. But this is in some ways what I think Jen would refer to as an example of more or less what the whole concept of birthright is about. It's about encouraging people to want to come to Israel, to want to make Aliyah, and to
I know the song and dance.
procreate with other Zios. That's
But
basically
also,
the whole
people
idea.
be aware that birthright is akin to APAC in that it's one of many things, right? Birthright is not by any stretch the only brainwashing operation that they have going. It's just one of many programs. Just aware.
Try not to blow your lunch while you listen to this one.
Move to Israel. There is no one in the world like Israeli people. I truly believe this in my heart. They are so warm, so inclusive, and they're so giving and sharing. Like every single Israeli I meet, they're like, "What are you doing for Shabbat? You need a Shabbat plan? Come to dinner." And I just met them. Like it's so sweet.
She needs to be more concerned with the camel toe situation going on there. What?
I'm sure that's deliberate. Israelis are the sweetest people alive. No, they're the nastiest people alive, at least in terms of what I've seen. But you wouldn't know it if you were listening to this channel. And when I tell you that this is a lot of the content, this is also one of the channels that is very braggadocious about who's Jewish and how successful they are. Everything's all related to money and power. Do you know we have Jewish faces in high places? Like that's basically the crux of what they push here. And the other thing that they push is that Israelis are incredible people.
What do you think the biggest misconception is about Israel? I think that they are rude, but they're not rude.
They're not? That's news to me. I mean, maybe to other Zionists.
They are the most entitled people on the planet. Seriously. And if you were to do a poll of the people on the planet, I bet you anything they would concur. There are no more entitled people on the planet than Israelis. They're an entire ethnicity built on fake entitlement. So of course they're the most entitled people.
I think that they say it how it is. They are really warm people and they're just direct. And they're real. They're real. It's like your friend that like will tell you your outfit doesn't look good. I think also that, especially during the war, that everything is scary. It's like not a good place to be. It's the best place to be. The people here, they have your back. We are family. Anything that happens, I know I can knock on any person's door here and say, can I come in? And
they have your back if you're white Ashkenazi Jewish. Then they'll have your back.
Well,
if you're Mizrahi Jew, Sephardim, God forbid, Black, or Muslim, Christian even, they don't have your back. They don't have your back at all. They'll help you out the door. They'll put their hand behind their back. They'll be behind your back with a knife, maybe. This bitch.
they will give me shower, food, anything I need. Nowhere else in the world would they ever take you in like this. So true. So as a woman, I feel very safe here, which is also rare. I walk around 4 a.m. by myself home. Really? Never once do I think, oh, I need to make sure no one's going to do something bad to me, because everyone here has like good morals. Bucha, it's a family here.
Okay, it's a haven for pederasses. That's fascinating. She feels safest in a country that seems to have the largest congregation of pederasses. And I would also suggest rapists that we know of, like openly accepting these people. That's like living in a country where all the registered sex offenders have to go and saying, I really feel safe here. That's the thing. They don't have those kinds of rules there where you have to live outside a certain perimeter. Pederasses are free and welcome there. So I'm glad that that lady feels safe. You know what I mean? And maybe she has children. Maybe she doesn't have children. Maybe she doesn't care if her children get pettered. But that's just something. That's something. Lady.
My guess is that these ladies did not actually see this clip of what's really going on. And this is not.
They would say this is fake. They would say that this is Hasbara.
Well, this is the West Bank, and this is.
Yeah, they would say this is bullshit.
Hey! Just look at this fucking kid. Just look at this kid. Let me tell you something. There are certain people that just need to get their faces smashed in. And that includes their parents, their grandparents, because this is multi-generational. This keeps getting passed down over and over and over again. So this shit-eating grin, tough guy looking person, by the way, this guy
is in the West Bank, people. This is in the West Bank. This is a settler attacking a disabled man, for people who might be listening and not reading the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's just misunderstood. He's one of the nicest people alive, according to the two ladies who were just propping up Israel. But, you know, it's, oh, yeah. Yeah, like this guy's done. This kid, he's done. There's nothing redeemable about him at all.
Yes. Really? He looks like Sid.
Sid!
Yes. He looks like Sid from Toy Story. Yes.
Bingo. Good one.
Hey! أنا كنت أفوت على الدار حشر الأولاد والبنات هناك شايف وجيت عليه وعلى طول ضربني على ظهري بالماسور. هم دائما بيسووا هذه السوايا مشان يتعربشوا معانا مشان يضربوا أو يسووا شيء سواء كان بدهم يحرقوا مساعدين يحرقوا يعني هاي الدار هاني مساعد يمرقوا يحرقوا ما أثرش عنده يعني.
Oh, Mehdi, that was good. Mehdi, that was really good. He looks more like Sid from Ice Age. Shout out John Leguizamo.
They'd pass through and set it on fire and they wouldn't care.
No.
This is a man without a leg.
I know that the other night you covered the donkey story, right?
Yes.
That's the kind of shit, like this kind of, that makes me want to hurt people. And then I'm angry for feeling like that because I don't want to feel like that. But like, I feel like I want to hurt people. That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
It's real.
I'm just angry for being made to feel so angry.
So when we
exactly,
say
no offense to Sid from Ice Age. That's why I gave the shout out to John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo's a funny guy.
John Leguizamo's great.
It's just unfortunate.
And that is the voice of Sid. So I have to. Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that he's kind of a shitlib, but it is what it is.
You know what? I'm just saying I appreciate the talent.
So you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the juxtaposition between what they sell versus what is. This is what they do. What is the right term, Jen? Demons? Is that the right term? Because I'm told I can't say animals.
Is this true? Is that true? And if so, to what capacity? Because again, we've talked about this.
Gotta have more context, Sarah. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot more information.
Yeah. Well, I've said yes, but no. The only reason why our country hasn't been fully taken over is because we have the Second Amendment. That is the only reason. Because if we didn't, no one would be getting in the way of these data centers. And while right now, most of the data center surveillance center opposition is peaceful, it's not going to stay that way.
Exactly. I'm with Maria.
Yeah.
Fuck all that.
And he's an old man. Did you see how aggressively he swung that lead pipe? How he's so tough.
Have we not been all watching the same videos for really ever my lifetime, but past 3 years? So yeah, nothing is surprising. These people need to be put down like rabid animals.
Shot off 2 years ago by the IOF. There is no forgiving this. There's no forgetting it.
Infuriating.
Beyond infuriating, but this is for keeps. That's why I will never apologize. I met a bunch of people at the person that I work with, it was his birthday today. And so I got to meet a bunch of people that work out of this office in Panama City that I hadn't met. And apparently, like, the conversation came up about, we heard that you had gotten fired. What had happened? And I explained to a few of them exactly what had happened. And I said, I don't apologize for anything. My opinion about Israel is ironclad, and I'm not changing it. I don't care what anybody thinks. And these are very conservative people, but they 1000% agree. And so it actually goes to show you that it is the unifying issue of our time. We just have to make it so. And how do we know? How do we end on a positive note, Jen? How do we end?
It's part of Zio Hunting, but the fun part, right?
When we talk at length about Fuentes and how he's a Fed, and it's too obvious that he is. Well, you know who else is a Fed? Jake Lang is a Fed. Because you can't do what he did on J6.
Okay, David Hunter, before you even say anything, this is a fun thing. Don't worry about the whole Jake Lang aspect. Continue.
Many of you have probably seen this, and Lord knows Jake Lang had this coming. I hope it hurt I hope it hurt as much as it looked like it did. But hats off to Peter Parker being Spider-Man. And I mean, just the image of him getting smashed in the head with that freaking cross.
It's glorious.
It's too perfect.
Yeah, it's really nice. I want to know if we know who that masked man is. You know what I'm saying?
Peter Parker, but he can't take his mask off. It's not allowed.
Right.
He's got to protect his identity.
And guys, this is kind of like inspiring in the same way that Luigi is inspiring, because it's a suggestion as to doing things and not being recognized. So it's sort of like almost a little bit of a how to deal with people in a way, because we don't know who this guy is. So how would one file an assault charge? I don't know who that is. I can't see his face.
Why does he get arrested, but Jake Lang doesn't? That's the big question.
Oh, they arrested him, so then we know who it is. So then then obviously they know who it is now. Still good idea, though.
Oh, we're the real deal here, Chris. We put our money where our mouth is. Literally.
No. We need to lance Israel like a boil off of humanity.
100%. And I do not apologize for that.
No.
Let me tell. I've already
and here's
told
the thing. I don't even care if people call me anti-Semitic. I don't care if I'm called a self-loathing Jew. I Jimmy Crackhorn, and I don't care. I don't care.
Mm.
It doesn't matter to me. And here's the thing. I also believe that it's completely acceptable to be anti-Semitic.
You can be whatever you want.
You don't want to be friends? Exactly. You can be whatever you want to be. I don't necessarily want to be friends with people like that, but I don't believe in, thought control. You don't get to tell people who they have to like, who they have to be nice to, and whatever. We don't need that.
I'll give you a great example.
So even if people are anti-Semitic, again, I don't want to hang out with them. But that's their prerogative. You're allowed to hate people. You're allowed to think all sorts of stupid shit.
I'll give you a good example.
Like,
who do you
whatever.
think is more dangerous, David Duke or Noah Tishby? Now, naturally, people would say David Duke, but in reality, it's Noah Tishby. David Duke has no power. He can encourage a lot of sick, demented thoughts, but Noah Tishby is at the head of the class. You see, they get to decide policy. They get to decide the fate of millions, if not billions of people. They just
I
do
just
it in a
don't
way.
like thought control. And I've always said
Sure,
it. I think
absolutely.
we
I
don't, I have no problem with hate speech. I have no problem with hate thought. You can think whatever you want, right?
And
like
I saw
it's so
somebody-
absurd. So point being is, again, this is what I would say to Mark Ruffalo. So what? Be an anti-Semite, whatever, gives a shit. Let them call whatever they want. Like, who cares? You're allowed to be whatever you want to be.
You want to wave the Confederate flag? That's your business. You look stupid, but do what you want.
That's what I'm saying. I've said it. I'll say it again. I like to know who my bigots are. I don't have a problem with hate speech. Hate crime, hate action that hurts people. That's another story. And we have laws for that shit. But hate thought and disliking people, really?
Karina, I like when you show
like
up.
whoever you want to fucking like, and say it too loudly. I don't care if people want to walk up and down the street shouting, "We hate the Jews." All right. Now, if one of those Jews wants to beat the shit out of you, then so be it. But I don't care.
To those that don't actually know this, but will now know, David Duke was one of the main organizers in Skokie, Illinois on, was it Passover? So Skokie, Illinois is kind of like North Miami and Brooklyn, New York.
For people who do not know, there's a famous Supreme Court case about the Ku Klux Klan versus Skokie, Illinois. And they were trying to keep the Klan from marching through what was and I believe still is a predominantly Jewish town of Skokie, Illinois.
Wealthy Jewish
and
town.
The ACLU defended the Klan, and a lot of liberal people, the kind of people that are now progressives except for Palestine, did not like that. So they were all about civil liberties until it offended them. And so as somebody who still 1,000% agrees with the Skokie decision and the Klan was allowed to march, I think that was the right decision. I still agree with it now. And people who have a problem with speech really need to be worrying about, I don't know, dead babies. Why don't we be worrying about the dead babies in West Asia other than people's hurt fucking feelings? I don't care about people's feelings. I don't.
They don't feel safe, Jen.
I don't give a shit. And that's really what it comes down to. When you're worried about hate speech, that means that you're more concerned with people's feelings being hurt. Because remember when we were kids, it was like sticks and stones, right? And it's true. So if you can't handle what people are saying to you, then maybe you should be concerned about the people that are getting Holocausted. That's what I think.
That would be requiring too much. But then again, the truth hurts.
The ACLU has its bullshit too, but the point is that particular decision was correct.
Mm-hmm.
It was correct. People
and
can
just
march
remember,
around and say whatever the fuck they want. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they think. That's the
Bill
whole
Maher
point.
and Bill Maher is having a love affair with little Ben Shapiro as we speak.
We don't have time for this. We don't have time we don't have time to do it. I gotta go. And thank you everyone who was worried about my chickens. I saw multiple people commenting. I'm not alone tonight, so I had somebody that was able to help put the chickens up, but I appreciate you guys.
For the final time this evening, you guys have been amazing, and we really appreciate your incredible support. Again, patreon.com/revolutionary change for as little as $5 a month. You could become a supporter of our small but mighty, despite heavily suppressed yet still growing channel. Guys, one more time, major announcement for Thursday. We will be live. It will either be at 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. You will get an update, but just make sure to check. It is not a guarantee, but it is very likely. We are going to make a switch. We've been talking about making a programming switch. We think that
Thursday afternoons. But here, guys, before we go, before we go.
Think it's better than me, Paul? Didn't you say you're hanging here all day, you're higher than me, you're better than me? Yeah, well, I gotta miss you. You're not. I'm a quadra. I can think that you're not better than me at all. Yeah, I'll keep you.
That will never get old.
Oh, Medi, they do. They go in the coop totally by themselves, but I like to go in and close it and lock it up. And unfortunately, even though 5 of my 6 chickens do have 5 toes, they're not opposable thumbs. So they can't lock the door on the inside. So yes, they do go in themselves, but they can't lock it. It's a thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Maria. And thank all of you guys. We do have a boatload. We'll get through them quickly, but we have a boatload of additional super chatters for the evening. Patrick West with a $9.99. Love you both. Keep it going, and love conquers all.
And thank you for the sweet compliments tonight, Patrick. It does the old lady's heart well.
Marvin Vargas with the $2. Have Colonel McGregor on, talk about third party Jill Stein. We would have Colonel McGregor on,
of course,
if he was willing to come on. Trying to
David
get him.
Hunter, the program change is a time change. It's we were talking about Thursdays. We're going to do afternoons.
Yep.
Still do Monday evenings, Saturday evenings, and Peter Saturday evenings, but we're going to do Thursday afternoons. That's it.
Another big reason. This is one of the reasons why we haven't been able to get Rania Kalik back on the show.
It's a reason we can't get Professor Morandi. It's a reason we can't get a lot of overseas people. So it's one of the ways we can expand.
Yeah, we have a lot of connections in Europe and Asia, and it would stands to reason that especially because Thursday night is a night where our channel runs up against a lot of it's not even competition, it's just people that watch our channel watch these other channels as well. So if we have the opportunity to create, again, Saturday night has proven to be effective. Monday night has always.
And I don't think our numbers are necessarily going to be better on Thursday. I don't.
Maybe not.
But it at least allows us to have more diversity of guests.
Correct. So we'll see what happens. I think that's that in itself. You don't just do it for the views. You do it because it actually helps with what, as Jen has always said, what our channel was always meant to be about. These long form conversations.
We're not completely sure yet, and it to be determined, but 12 or 1, like
12 or
basically
1 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah,
it's going to be one or the other.
That way we can get a good variety of different, something like that. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm calling it now. We will do it at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And the reason I'm picking 1 p.m. is because that's when we drop our clips anyway. So we're not actually necessarily changing the format. What we're doing is just flipping it on its head. So how normally on a day like today, for example, you would get a clip at 1 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Eastern time, and then we would go live at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Now on Thursdays, what you're going to have is us going live at 1 p.m., and then 4 and 7 will be when the clips drop. So just that in itself is the format. So it's basically
this Thursday. Karina, we're doing it this Thursday because we're interviewing Dylan Radigan, and where is he, in the UK?
Yeah, I believe he's in the UK. And then Lena Haddad is in Paris. There's another person from Gaza that wants to come on. So we're doing what we can. And this, I think that for the long run, for the sustainability of the show, I think having an afternoon show was an intentional that your channel was found.
No.
Is that true?
I didn't know. I must say that on it must say that on our YouTube page. It must have been coincidence. That's a coincidence. It's a coincidence.
Yes. Yeah. And by the way, here's hoping that Zoran Mamdani shows up on 9/11 at Ground Zero and really pisses off the Zio scum. Patrick West with the $19.99. Jen is beautiful. Fight the good fight, and love you guys. We appreciate
this. Is almost like I feel like a cerebral titty dancer almost. Like if I sit here and be kind of nice, like and smart, I get people are throwing money. You know what I mean?
Now you got financial admirers. I mean, this is like you see.
Guys, we're always in the market for a good sponsor for the channel.
Carson Cruz with the $10. I gave up on Disney when CEO Michael Eisner and the Weinsteins gave us Pulp Fiction. Say what you will. The Disney company, through wholly owned Miramax, reaped the profits. Walt would have been rolling. Yeah, absolutely.
Probably. And I'm not going to say that I don't like the movie Pulp Fiction, because that
I
wouldn't
do.
be true.
It's a good movie. You can't say that. I mean,
Quentin
listen, anybody
Tarantino
who's
is a disgusting piece of shit.
yeah.
I think he's got very pederasty tendencies. Again, another Zio that lives in Zio house. So
Zed's
and
dead,
it,
baby.
and it sucks that I like that movie, but I do.
Well, maybe the fate that they all deserve is the Marcellus Wallace treatment by Zed, and then getting, well, you know, Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. Leaving early. Good night, guys. Thank you for the $1.99, Sonia. Really appreciate it.
Peter always wanted us to do reviews.
Yeah, actually, I think, you know,
He used to want us to do that. He used to want us
Yeah.
to do reviews. It would
Well,
depend on
well,
what
hold
it
on a
is.
minute. I actually think that if we were going to do anything, I would think that we would review political movies, like something that's actually relatable to what we're doing. You know, kind of like if we were to talk about If I Must Die or any of these important stories, not just, oh, what do we think of Goodfellas or Dances with Wolves? It's like, no, it actually has to be something pertaining to
No, I'm not co-hosting on Saturdays. The audience on Saturdays, they don't like me. And here's the thing, I'm good with that. And I don't need to sit and feel hated. As it is, the people that are the Saturday night people, the comments that they make about me on the clips, it's enough. I don't need to see it in real time. Patrick.
You've got a real admirer here, Jen. Ramu Venkat with the $5. Peter, run a story on Ossoff. Now mainstream media is pushing him for president. Hassan Majority Report, like media, are pushing laughing Alexa. Ramu, scroll to the beginning of the live stream. We did a good one.
Yes, we covered this. But you are definitely, we're in sync. We're in sync. We hear what you're saying.
Jeanette Villalona, pleasure as always, doll. Thank you for the $5. This is the biggest indoctrination in history, in my opinion. Well, it's certainly up there. No two ways about it. Marvin Vargas with the $5. 9/11 anniversary. Have Susan Lidnauer on, related Bush family CIA liaison to the Middle East. Tried to warn government about 9/11. Silenced, arrested, put in Air Force jail, and has a book. Rachel,
Air Force jail, is that like airport jail but worse?
It could be.
Remember airport jail? Do you know what do you know what the
Yes, I know what airport jail is. Yes,
do you know what it's from?
No, what is it from?
Okay, so that's a really funny scene. It was Nicolas Cage in a movie called oh God, it was the one with him and he was chasing Sarah Jessica Parker and she went off with James Bond.
Honeymoon in
Honeymoon
Vegas.
in Vegas. Yeah, Honeymoon in Vegas. So there's a scene where, what's his name? It's Ben, oh God, the guy that we don't, Ben Stein, I think, is at the desk. Ben Stein is the customer at the front at the airport, and he was taking forever. And there was this huge line behind him, and Nicolas Cage is in a hurry, right? And he's listening, and the guy's like planning a trip that's like months away. And he goes up and he starts getting really aggravated. And then the lady tries to come. He's like, "What are you going to do? Put me in airport jail?" And it was just, yeah. So, honeymoon in Vegas. That's what it is.
Carson Cruz, I said that. Carson Cruz with the $10. Israelis, sweet, warm, not if you are a defenseless human or animal. Yeah. And they torture animals, by the way. Remember, we covered the cats and they're eating, they're burning the cats, they're burning the dogs. Literally, they're doing that. Jeanette Villalona with the $5 again. I love the honest truth about what has been happening for so long that is coming to light. It's what we do. This is
Hold
what
on,
we do.
this is good too. Shout out to nerds on this channel. Women really like nerds. Here's the thing. Smart women like nerds. Okay? It's a sign, but you're right. Continue.
And finally, last of the evening, Libertarian Social Dem being a 10-month member. Imagine Randy Fine as lieutenant governor.
I don't know.
No, I can't imagine that because he would outweigh Byron Donalds in more ways than one.
I was
Yes.
going to say, you're talking literally.
Well, that's why I had it. Hey, listen, I can do a little stand up. I've got the voices.
You could do stand up. You could put it whole thing together. That could be your
Well, this country should have been a lot better off if I had become president. Could you have imagined? Could you imagine if I had become president of the United States? We would have been better. We would have won. It's time to end this show.
It is. We got to go. Even though I don't have to put up chickens, I got to stand. I've been sitting here for a long time.
Yeah, sit, stay a little while. You people enjoy this monologue explaining why revolutionary change is inevitable. I can assure you, if you're not supporting this great channel, do it, or I might get upset.
Is that a thing, or is it just that some people think you kind of resemble him and
Some think I
Buscemi,
look
but
like a young William Dafoe. Some think I look like a young Buscemi. I've gotten
Christopher
plenty,
Walken in there.
but Walken
yeah.
is one that I've gotten quite a bit, and
But
that's why
I can't imagine. Does Defoe
working
have
on his
like a
voice a little bit.
particular? I don't know that I would recognize Defoe's voice.
David Hunter. I think what's gonna happen is people are they're gonna try to take people's brains before they die and hook them into another person's body to see if they can prolong the life, create the pattern again.
It's like Don't Look Up, but instead of finding a way to escape, they're finding a way to turn us into vessels. Empty vessels. Take the heads, take the brains.
The first monologue that I ever thought of when I think of Christopher Walken is from Batman Returns, when he's giving his speech. Santa Claus, afraid not. I'm just a poor schmo. Got lucky. So sue me. But I like to give some back. Smash that like button, share, subscribe, do all those things we ask you to do. We love you all. We appreciate you all. We will see you Thursday at
afternoon.
1 p.m. Eastern Time. And
Free Palestine.
good night, guys.
Good night, guys.